Hello there, everybody. Almost didn't have a live tonight because internet issues, of course, but hopefully things should work a lot better now. So we will just have to see. All right, hold on one sec as I get things loaded here. I can't even look at the screen yet, but I'll be able to here in just a second. Okay. Almost ready. Here we go. Almost ready. Here we go. Nope. Nope. Don't want to do that. Oh, come on now. Hey there, Queen 9. How are you doing? There we go. Okay, let me get this pulled up. Okay. Hopefully I look okay on your end, everybody. Oh, and then I have to go and do that really quick. Okay, we are gonna lock that in there because there's no reason for that to move. Hold on a second. Gotta do this really quick. Nope, that's the wrong. Okay. That'll work. Oh, Charlene Jackson's become a member. Awesome. Thank you, Charlene. Let me do this here. Nice. Nice. Share. Welcome to Share Even More Love. Perfect. Perfect, Charlene. Thank you so much. That is going to be the tier to go to. We'll get more people in there. I'm going to try and sell it as best I can. When we get more people in there, I've got things planned that we can do on that platform. And I'll send you the Discord invite from here. I'm still trying to figure that part out, but I should be able to send it to you. But thank you again, Charlene, for doing that. That is awesome. Okay. I'm wanting to do ghost content. I'm wanting to like paranormal videos. And, oh, let me put my chair up. I think I'm, there we go. Paranormal videos and stuff like that, so stay tuned and we'll get that going for you. And I'm gonna do this real quick. Let me see, then I can go. There we go. Okay. It will. It'll definitely be awesome, Charlene. Oh, thank you, Charlene. I appreciate that. My mama tells me I'm a handsome boy all the time. Which is nice, but I want to be a handsome man. You know what I mean? I'm ready. Oh, thank you, Charlene. Thank you. All right. Let's get it going here. So, Charlene, being the new member that you are, do you have a question? And I should be able, I have a meeting this week, and I'm thinking in the next few weeks I'll be able to tell you guys what it is that has been brewing for not just this channel, but it's a whole big project. I don't know how to say anything about it because I don't know how to explain it quite yet to where you guys would be like, oh, okay. Hey there, Sweetness from New Zealand. How are you doing? Nadia, how is it going with you, my friend? Yes, Grammarly, I know. I know it's better with the app, and I have the app, I think. There we go. Okay. You know the deal, guys. I have to do this every time. How was your weekend, Nadia? And how was your weekend, Charlene? I don't think I saw you. Yes. Well, you came in, I think, on the other live, but I had to switch because of fun times. Okay. Sorry, guys. You know the deal. Always takes me a second to get set up here. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. There we go. There we go. All right. That'll work, I do believe. Let me look at the cards and let's see what those look like. Awesome, Nadia. Give me 1 second here. I'm just going to see what the cards look like with the lighting that I have. So this isn't for you, Nadia. This is just, or Charlene or anybody. But I'm just going to see what the cards look like. Kind of blurry. Okay. Let me hold it up. Okay, it's going to be kind of confusing here. Let me do it this way. That doesn't look too bad. And then it always takes me a minute to have it come back here. One second, my friends. Let's see what we can do. Hey there, Becca. All right, that'll be good enough. Okay, so Charlene, did you have a question? And then Nadia, you already asked your question. And we'll do it that way. Awesome, okay. Perfect. Perfect, okay, we are cooking with gas now. So, because of Nadia's donation, because of Charlene's membership, we'll do it like this. So, let's do this here. And we got 2 free readings. I'm thinking Queen 9 and Sweetness on those ones. So I'll put you guys down for the free ones. Whenever someone donates, you guys get free readings. And you get 2 card free readings instead of the 1 card free readings. Hey there, Joseph. How's it going, my friend? Awesome. There we go. Perfect. Now I can do this. I've been wanting to do this, but I haven't been able to yet, so now I can go like this. There we go. So that'll have the names of people that have donated up at the top here, so you guys can kind of see what we're doing. There we go. Okay, so... Yeah, Becca, I can put you on the list here. Okay, there we go. That should update automatically, so we will see how that goes here. So, Nadia, love situation this summer. Let's look at that. What do we have happening for Nadia this summer? And like I said, guys, the Discord server, as I'm shuffling the cards here, I'll just show this to you guys so you can see it. But check this out if you're interested, because we're going to be doing more content on this channel only, on the way that I'm talking about this. When you guys sign up, become a Share Even More Love member, you'll get access to my Discord, but you guys can read that. Hopefully everyone can read that. I will be shuffling here. Hopefully that was enough for you guys to be able to see it, and we'll go from there. So oh, there we go. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right, let's see what we can do, guys. Let's get it all shuffled up here, get it all ready to go. Love situation for Nadia this summer. What's going on for Nadia this summer? Ah, there we go. Let's dance the night away. Or, if you're like me, people call it drunken stumbling whenever I dance. Kind of looks like I'm having a seizure every move that I make. Yeah, cease and desist orders have definitely been given on the behalf of my dancing skills. Very offensive to people, you see. All right. When I dance, it looks like I'm throwing up in reverse. You can imagine. It's not good. My muscles get all tense and tight, pull my neck out. Shoes don't fit anymore. It's a whole thing. Okay, Nadia, let's see what we got for the summer. And I'll show you the cards here. But I'm just laying them out first, and then I'm going to do an overall energy card as well. So you know the deal. I shuffle it, get it going. Let's do a couple more. Okay. Here we go. So, we have Ace of Coins. Okay. We have the Lovers. That one's in reverse. Should normally look like that. Two people sitting there. When I see that one in we'll talk about that, because I'm going to do a card over that to clarify. Five of Cups. Okay. Two of Swords. And Four of Wands. And now when I give you guys information and advice, I'm just going to say it once. We'll see how far this goes. We'll see how long I can do that. I tend to drag things on and on. I'm just going to give the advice once and not hash out the same thing over and over again, unless I change my mind. I'm like an old man. I'm a young old man. I'm in old man training. Here I come, Grandpa. Hold on to your suspenders. Okay, so we have, let's look at the love card here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay another card down. I'm looking, there we go. I'm going to lay another card down because we had the Lovers in reverse, the Two of Swords, the Four of Swords. So I'll show you the cards again. Ace of Coins. Okay, that one's upright. That's a good card to have. Five of Cups. Lovers in reverse. Two of Swords. And the Four of Wands in reverse. Okay, so the best thing I can say is this. I'm going to put a card over the Lovers just to see what it is. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a card and I'm placing it on top of this card. But I'm doing it so if the cards are up and down like this when I lay them down, you know, they can be in reverse, whatever. So they're an up and down motion. I'm laying the other card on top to clarify the question. So why are we getting the Lovers in reverse? Yeah, okay, makes perfect sense. All right, so here's what I've got. Ace of Coins is how we're going to be starting out. That looks good to me. It feels like we're starting things are going well for us. But like I've been saying, Nadia, there's still more of the healing journey needs to be done. I don't think you're not going to find love. That's not what I'm saying at all. It just feels to me like you'll know when you're ready, right? This summer, there could be some options coming your way, and we'll explain those in just a second here. But we have to know what we're worth, and we have to know what it is we want and what we don't want in a partner. That's the big thing. Hey there, Trash Panda. Love the name. And the animal, the raccoon. Beautiful Trash Pandas. Five of Cups is making me feel like there's parts of ourselves that I feel like we're refusing to look at, okay? Because if you look at the Five of Cups, you'll see this person is sitting there, and Five of Cups, we're not dealing with the emotions in some way, shape, or form, because we have cloudy skies here. I feel like you've been making progress, Nadia. I don't think you're just sitting around just waiting for things to happen. But I feel like part of you is wanting things to kind of hurry along, and maybe in that state or that process, we're sort of hurting ourselves because we're trying to rush things along. We're trying to have things go on here. And so with the Two of Swords and the Four of Wands here, okay, Four of Wands in reverse, Two of Swords upright. With those cards right there, there's not going to be a stable foundation for love, at least not for a minute. And then we have the Two of Swords, and then we have indecision in reverse. I feel like the reason why love can be something that can be, let's call it difficult for you. Let's call this difficult, or let's call it an obstacle. I feel like the reason why it can be that way is because you don't necessarily know exactly what you want. It feels to me like our standards can kind of change depending on who it is that we're after. And you seem like someone who really wants to find someone that's good for you, but also I feel like there's a sense of kind of settling, possibly with someone who wouldn't be good for you, but being like, okay, this seems good enough. That's kind of the attitude I feel is going on here. And the reason why I asked that, because we had the Lovers in reverse. Okay, we had the Lovers in reverse, and then on top of that, I get the Moon card, okay? The Moon card I'm not going to read in reverse. I'm going to read it in correlation to the Lovers that was in reverse, or, you know, however that works. I don't read clarifier cards in reverse. So we have the Lovers, and I put the Moon on top of it. So what this means is there's still healing that needs to happen with you, Nadia. There's parts of yourself that you're not looking at. There's emotions that have not been expressed. I feel like you're someone who does better with expressing yourself in movement, right? But it's also important to write things down and to do some grounding exercises, which we've shown a few times on this channel. But you're starting the healing journey, but there's still parts you're not wanting to look at. And the parts I'm talking about are this, okay? I know in the past I've been very vague. I've been like, okay, what does this mean? What does that mean? So if you guys won't take the videos I offer, if you won't take anything else, then let me say this instead. The thing that I'm talking about, the most important thing that I'm talking about here, is that we heal the inner child. So think of memories of the past where we felt alone, we felt isolated, or we felt ridiculed, or we felt humiliated by our parents or our family or our friends, right? Think of those moments when we were very young and we didn't have the vocabulary to express that we liked or we didn't like something. We didn't have the ability to stand up for ourselves, and we were in the care of people that did not understand us for who we were. I want you to go back into those memories, and I want you to work on healing that. What would you have done in that situation if you saw the younger version of yourself? Would you go up and hug yourself and say it's okay? As weird as this sounds, it helps to rewire the brain. It helps to kind of substitute the memories, and it helps to take the charge out of those emotions. And so that's going to be a huge thing that I'm talking about here. You take the charge out of the emotion, then you're not as afraid to look at it. And the main reason why we have trauma and it doesn't go away is because we are refusing to look at it. We think it's this dark and scary big creature that's lurking in the shadows, when really as soon as we start to observe it, we realize it's just a younger version of us in pain, and it's screaming out in pain because it hurts. And the reason why it hurts is because it's trying to get your attention. Not so that you ignore it, but so that you look at it and say, okay, I understand. And then you start to merge with it, okay? But we have to realize the shadow's there in order to work through that. But, so, summer situation, the way I would see it is there could possibly be a, maybe a Gemini coming in, maybe. If I'm reading it that way, though, it could be maybe a Gemini you've already met, or maybe someone you already know, or has Gemini-like traits. So it feels like there could be an old relationship coming in, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. I feel like the relationship with the self is obviously the most important thing, and that's kind of going to be my answer here. I would say, Nadia, this will be the last time I mean, when you donate again, of course, I'll probably say something similar, but date yourself for a while. Have that be something. Go on a healing journey so that you know what it is you're getting into. Otherwise, we could keep falling into similar situations and wonder what's wrong with us, when all that's wrong with us, in quotation marks, wrong with us, is that we just have healing to do. We just need to look at ourselves in an honest way and say if we're ready for a relationship, and if we're going to use that person to escape or not. Is that person going to be a partner, or are we using them as a means to escape our own reality because we don't want to deal with our own issues? Because that's going to be the main thing moving forward. Hopefully, Nadia, that makes sense. And again, thank you for the donation. I do appreciate that. Hopefully I'm not coming across as too harsh. Again, I just feel like I need to talk with you guys openly, honestly, and get that out there. So that's what I'm seeing. And I'll say this too, all right? This is none of my damn business, all right? But I'm going to meddle in it anyway because I feel like it's okay to say this. If you guys have trauma from when you talk to me and you start realizing you have that, you're very welcome, Nadia. And you start realizing you have that, I want you to at least wait a year before you start in the dating game again. The reason why is because when we have trauma and we're discovering that we have trauma and we're discovering how we need to heal, you're going to be changing a lot during that process. And if you have a partner during that time, like let's say you're single, it's easier to change and have things move and flow with you versus having a partner that midway through you found, but they fell in love with the version of you that wasn't the person you're going to be in 6 months. Basically, it's very volatile when we're healing. We're very volatile. So that's a good thing to do. And another thing is this, and you guys are going to hate me for this one because this one takes a lot of self-control. So you get somebody, you get to know somebody, do not sleep with them, have sex with them, any of the intimates for, I would say, 4 months, 3 to 4 months. And the reason why is because in that amount of time, you will get to know that person's character. You'll get to know who they are to other people, who they are with their family, who they are with their friends. You'll get to see who this person is and have a full picture. And if someone is not okay with you doing that, setting your own boundaries, bye-bye anyway, right? It helps weed out the people that are going to be pieces of garbage anyway. So that's one thing that I would want you guys to kind of focus on. Does it sound strict? Does it sound kind of harsh in a way? It does, but you guys have so much power, and to give it away in a whim over this and then the person moves on, you know what I mean? That's not fair to you. That is totally not fair to you, and you're just going to keep breaking your hearts over and over again, and then in turn developing even more trust issues. So that's kind of my advice there. So, okay. Queen 9, what was your question? Hopefully you're still here. Hopefully you're still with us. There we go. Okay. Well, let me look here and see something. All right, who's here right now that wants a reading? I'll just say it that way so that we can go back to the list here. And as we're doing that, I'm going to change this one more time here. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. That looks a lot better. Hopefully it doesn't blow out the cards now. Not as much. Okay, perfect. All right, so whoever is there and wants a reading, we can totally do that. I have some names written down here, but I'm not seeing them coming up here, so yeah, whoever is there and wanting to chat, go for it. All right, well, in the meantime, I'll practice my conversation skills. Okay, so, oh man. Has anyone seen the, what was it? I liked the new Spider-Man movie. I thought that was really good. I'm curious if anyone else has seen it. I've seen some other movies too, but let's start out kind of soft and go with Spider-Man first, and then sort of drift into some other directions here. Or any movie that you guys are kind of into or interested in. What was it called? Spider-Man... No Return, or Spider-Man... No Home, something. No Home Return to. Can't remember what the movie was called. Anyway, it was good. I liked that movie. I thought it was really, really good. And the superhero movies I've been kind of getting tired of because it's... I mean, you can only have superheroes fighting gods so much before you're like, oh, it's an even more powerful god, you know, but... There we go. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there. Okay, let me do this here. Yeah, the internet situation finally got resolved. I had 3 people here looking at it, seeing what was going on. I think we figured it out. I'm hoping we figured it out because, frankly, it was getting ridiculous. You know, you pay for fast internet. In my area, it's fast, right? Maybe to you guys in the bigger cities, not so much, but 100 megabytes for me, where I am, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay. All right. Anybody there in the chat that wants to talk or say anything? Because we can totally go into some stuff here. Let me... Hey, Mary, how's it going? Haven't seen you for a minute, so hopefully it's going good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Hold on here. Bottled down. Okay. Well, do you have a 2-card question, Mary? So basically 2 cards, 1 question is what I'm thinking we can do here. Let me do this here. That's more of a psychic... Well, you know what? I'll just say it this way. I think you deserve better. You keep wondering about where this person's going, what they're doing, in kind of an obsessive way, right? Is there any way you can just break up with this person and move on? Because it sounds like the trust is gone. If you can get out of the situation, I would say just get out. From there, no matter how I'm going to do this reading, no matter how it would go, it would be the same. Get out of the situation. Trust is gone. It's no longer there. If you're wondering where this person goes while you sleep, you know what I mean? Eventually you're going to be driven insane because it's like you can't rest, you can't sleep because so-and-so is going to try and cheat behind your back. That sounds like hell, right? That doesn't sound good. If there's any way you can get out of that situation, I'd say do that. If you had proof you would, I can never catch him. But you already don't trust him anyway. Like, trust is so far gone that... You know what I mean? Even if something was going on versus if something wasn't, the trust is not there anymore. You're trying to pin something on him. You're trying to find something out. And I imagine even if he was doing something and you asked him point blank, he wouldn't answer it right. So, yeah. And I'm not... The question you asked would have been more of a psychic question. But even if you paid me, like, I don't want you to pay me for this question because... I would just say get out of the situation. If trust is gone, it's gone. That's over with. Move on from that situation, regardless of if you catch him or not. If you're worried about it this much, to this degree, where I imagine you're going to start losing sleep if you haven't already, because every time you sleep, he goes somewhere, then it's just not worth it, right? You're just torturing yourself. And maybe that's harsh to hear, but that's kind of what I have to say there. So, and I know the cards would say something exactly the same. And psychically, it would be the same. I mean, I could say he goes to a strip club, or he does this, or he does that. But would it matter at this point? Like, I don't think it does. If you don't trust him this much, I think it's time to move on. Hold on 1 second, Mary. Okay. Oh, thank you, Mystic. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you. That's just what I feel. If trust is gone, the relationship cannot stand. It's built on relationships, and if we don't have that, we don't have anything. She may have. I tend to be a little more, and even if she's still here, I tend to be a little blunt when I talk about things. I mean it in a way that's supposed to show love and care for people that come on here, because oftentimes we're dealing with people that have varying degrees of trauma and different things that can block ways of judgment. You're welcome, Mary. You're very welcome. But yeah, that's something that we have to work through, you know. I see you're still here, Mary. Yeah, but anyway, that's where I'm coming from with that, Mary. I mean, you can talk about it, you know, if that helps you. But yeah. And it's easy for me to say that, isn't it? You know, I'm a third party in this situation, and so I'm not wrapped up in it like you are. Hey there, Queen 9. I'm not wrapped up in it like you are. So it's easier for me to be on the other side of this fence, and it's easier for me to see this for what it is, because you, in this situation, can't. You're trying to catch someone in the act of doing something. That sounds awful. Like, even if you caught them in the act, then what? Then you would leave? You would stay, you'd blow up at them, you'd do whatever you need to do. It's not worth it. This far along, it's done, in my opinion. But again, I'm not a relationship expert. I'm coming from my opinion here. Yeah, so Queen 9, what was your question? And yes, we have started the free list. Okay, Mystic, sounds good to me. You want to know if Andrew wants to date you still? Let's look. All right, does Andrew want to date you still? Andrew is an interesting name, right? Because there's nicknames for both parts of the name. You have Andy, and then you have Drew. Where does he go? So Mary, like I said, that's more of a psychic question. I'm not going to answer that even if you pay me. It doesn't matter. Trust is gone. Doesn't matter what I'm going to say, right? You probably wouldn't trust anything I had to say anyway. So if it's this far gone, stay with somebody else, do whatever you need to do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but yeah, if it's gone, it's gone. And it sounds like it is in that situation. Okay, so let's look at this 29. Yeah, so Andrew is an interesting name. You have Andy, you have Drew to be short with. I think that's good. I think that's good. Double nicknames. You told him you just want to be friends, but you've been thinking about him. Oh, you played the friend zone card, and then when they're in the friend zone, you're like, damn. If only. And Drew, yes. We got Andy, we got Drew, we got Drudy. I don't know. Hey, Ivory, how's it going? I'll put you on the list here. You're on the list too, Mystic. Okay, one more shuffle. You told him you're down to be friends, but probably not anything romantic, but we have a lot in common, so I just wonder. And I get that. That's okay. You get to set how far things go, how fast they move, or how slow they move in this situation. It's always good to stay friends first anyway, and then move into a possible relationship later on. I think people, in my opinion, like dating apps, for instance, you're not starting out as friends. Usually, you're starting out kind of lusting after somebody or trying to go into that perspective. I'm not saying it can't work. It definitely can, but I feel like it takes two mature people on a dating app to make it work. It takes two secure attachment styles to make it work in that way. Because a lot of times I feel like it's usually just a guy looking for a good time, and the woman wants something more serious. And yeah. Anyway, start friends first. I feel like is the best thing. Not that I'm an authority on this, that's my opinion, you know. Okay. Because we matched on a dating app last year, he kind of stopped talking, randomly hit me up a couple weeks ago. Okay. So he kind of stopped talking. Okay. Were you trying to reach out to them during that time, Queen? Like, did you try messaging them and trying to get a response, or? But let's see. So you said, does Andrew still want to date you? You just left it. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, so here's what I've got. I got Blossoming Abundance, okay? And I've got Goddess of the Moon, all right? So I'll say this. He hit you up and said he wanted to reconnect. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's my rules for a possible reconciliation, okay? First thing I'm going to say is this. I said, let's just be friends because I value transparency. Perfect. I love that. And not only that, Queen 9, you're setting a boundary that says, you know what, stay back there until I understand what's going on, until I understand this or that, then possibly something else can happen. I think that's awesome. I really do think that's awesome. The other bit of advice, like I've said, it does seem to me like this person would want a relationship. I mean, obviously, if someone reconnects with you, you know what I mean? He was down to still be friends or otherwise. So we have Goddess of the Moon and Blossoming Abundance. So this could be a good connection, but the only thing I'm going to say, Queen 9, is, are they respectful? Do they respect your boundaries? If you've met this person or if you've talked to this person online, do they address your questions? Do they answer your questions? Are they good at keeping a conversation going? The attractiveness is great, right? Attractiveness is great. I'm going to tell you right now, as you get older, that fades. So focus on the personality that these people have. Don't focus on the looks. Yes, nice to look at. But that's going to be for a short time if you actually do grow old together with this person. Not saying you will. But see if they're respectful. See if they're someone who appreciates you. Do they make fun of people? Like one thing you can tell about a person right away. Let's say that you went to a restaurant to eat, right? And right, you're in the phase of admiring beauty. I get that. I'm a Taurus. I live in that phase. I breathe in that phase, and I'm probably going to die in that phase. To be completely honest with you, 100%, 1,000%. But what I feel is this. You get going into this. The very best thing to do is to see how this person acts in other situations. If you do date this person, if you give this person a shot, see how they act with, number one, their family, their friends. See if they're the same person when they're interacting with all these people. Do they act the same when they're with their friends, their family, to an extent? And also, how do they act with people that would be serving them at a restaurant? You can tell if someone's a jerk right away by how they treat people in the service industry. I'll tell you that right now. If your waiter got nothing wrong, but the person is still complaining and still kind of ragging on people, it's not going to be a good match. You want to find someone who's secure in their attachment style more than anything to help you with whatever it is that you would want. But I'd say, start out as friends, give it a shot. It does look like there's obviously an interest here. If this person wanted to reconnect, I don't think it's just to be friends, right? Very rarely, unless maybe you're 95 years old, do you reconnect with somebody just to be friends again? You know what I mean? No. You're reconnecting. Part of it's for the lusty parts. The other part's for hopefully the friendship part. But again, we're not eunuchs, we're not monks, we're not nuns. So I get it. We have these, let's call them desires, temptations, okay? And sometimes it's best to just wear a chastity belt and bury the feelings down. And I mean a tight one. I mean, like, you throw away the key, it sinks in the ocean, you need to go to the bathroom, you realize you can't take it off. You're going to have some smelly underwear, let me just put it that way. Just was wondering if, even after I said let's be friends, yes, I can guarantee you right now, thank you, Mystic, that's very kind of you. I can guarantee you right now that any guy that comes to you and you say let's just be friends and the guy says okay, the reason why he's sticking around is because he knows that it could possibly lead into something other than friendship. All right, men are not that deep. You can step in a puddle of man. Sounds gross, I know, and you can imagine what that puddle is, and not get your feet wet. Okay, there's not a lot of depth with men. Men are like dogs, women are like cats. Women are sensitive. They come to you when they're ready, they talk to you. Well, if a cat talks to you, then there's something else going on. Anyway, after you take the mushrooms, no. What I'm saying is men are very simple. You know what a man wants to do because they're always thinking with not this head. I'll give you a theory as to which one. And that kind of guides until you hit, like, let's say this, and here's the cruel joke. Here's the cruel joke, and I think it's funny in a cosmic way. So men, their libido, and women can have super strong libidos too, but men are like dogs. I'm serious, like dogs in heat, okay? And, age 30 to like 45, their sex, well, let me do it this way. So this is the man up here, okay? Now their sex drive is up here. All right, you can't even see my arm. It's still stretching up. Like I'm touching the ceiling right now. And it's a tall ceiling. It's up there, okay? And women's sex drive generally, I'm not saying for everyone, women's sex drive can be lower. But the funny part is when women get older, their sex drive increases. It can increase. And then men's sex drive lowers, okay? There's a very brief time where the sex drives meet in the middle. And then the universe just says, ha ha, now it doesn't work anymore. Oh, I'm just saying. That's not absolutely true. People have different sex drives. Not all men are the same. Let's be honest, though. A lot of them are very much like a man is kind of like this. Food, sex, food, sleep. Okay? We have so many thoughts a day, and 99% of those thoughts are where we would do it. Would it be this? Would it, Why doesn't sex drive keep our exes around then? TMI, sorry, but I have a high sex drive. So it's not just about the sex, right? A lot of times, the thing that happens is, from what I understand, okay, these are yours is high too. Good. Some women have lower sex drives. Does not mean all women have lower sex drives. I've read some books. I'll leave it at that. This book, I wonder if I have it in here. One second, hold on. Is it downstairs? Oh, there we are. Okay. All right, so this book right here explains everything. All right? This is the feckin' book of everything Irish. Okay? I'm just kidding. Because if this helps you in your sex life, I don't know what the hell you're doing, because this is a weird book. No, this is the book I'm talking about. Come as you are. All right? And this person right here is a sexual educator, and she's really, really good. Okay? Her name is Emily Nagowski. All right? I can put you on the list, Shirley. Her name is Emily Nagowski. She's really good at navigating the world of women's pleasure, right? Because it should be something that we talk about, because everyone, if they're not doing it, they're thinking about it. But in this case here, she talks about how sex drives and libidos can be different for each person, and no one should be shamed for having a high or a low sex drive, no matter what, right? And I feel like that's something that's really important. And I feel like when we're with a partner, they need to know how to treat us. And we need to tell them, okay? They're not mind readers. I'm a psychic. I'm not a mind reader, okay? Two very, very different things. And I should never have to be. Communication is the key, especially in the bedroom. Teach people how to help you to feel good, right? But the main thing is that in a relationship, there can be this dynamic, because you said something, Queen 9. You said, so why don't they stay around if you have a high sex drive and things are going good that way? Because a lot of times, and this again, I'm kind of generalizing here, but bear with me, just because I feel like it kind of makes sense. Okay. Let me take a sip here. And let me do this. There we go. Now you can see the top of my damn head. Guys are like, where is it? Where is it? Does he have hair up there? Yes. All right, so, shoot. Train left the station, and I wasn't on it, so give me a second as I catch up to it. Wait for me. It's going to be one of those dramatic, like I have to reach out my hand and jump, and then I get grabbed. No. Oh yeah, okay. It's generally because one person wants something that the other person doesn't. A lot of times, and maybe I'm wrong with this, why sex doesn't keep your ex around. Okay, and maybe I'm wrong with this, you guys can tell me, right, why they become an ex in the first place, right? Okay. You're wanting something more than what this person can give you, right? So let's say you want to be in a relationship with someone and you're ready to settle down, you're ready to give everything. The sex is a nice bonus, but the emotional intimacy is something that would be really nice to have as well. Because sexual intimacy, it's physical. Anyone can have sex with anyone, okay? That part doesn't really matter. The emotional intimacy, the emotional vulnerability that eventually sex requires from two people to have with each other, that can make it very difficult for people that are very shallow or people that are not very emotionally mature. That can make it very difficult for them to be able to tune in with you at that level. So at a certain point, once the honeymoon phase is worn off, or once the horny teenager phase has gone away, then what's left is that emotional part, the part that you want to express, the deeper feelings that you want to express, the talks you want to have with this person. And because they're not thinking in that same way, it makes it so that there's a disconnect from sex, because they know sex is not just physically intimate anymore, it's also emotionally intimate, and it's requiring them to be vulnerable in a way that they are not comfortable with. That's what I think. You guys can tell me if that makes sense to you. Right. You started to feel unsafe and unstable in your ex relationship and he couldn't support it emotionally. Of course. And so that's why I say this, okay? And I learned this from Crappy Childhood Fairy. All right, she's on YouTube and she talks about this stuff and it made a ton of sense to me. She said if you ever get in a relationship with anybody, like, you start dating, you start doing whatever, wait 3 to 4 months before you sleep with them or have sex with them. That's super important to wait, because then you get to see their character, their personality, how they are with other people, how they are with you on good days, on bad days. You get to see who this person really is. And you also get to see how they handle really slow Wi-Fi speeds when they're trying to watch a YouTube video, because that can tell you a lot about a person. Not putting it all on him, though. No, absolutely not. I argued a lot with him in the beginning of our relationship. I had no patience. Then roles switched. LOL. We mirrored each other. Right. I can understand that. But then there can also be the anxious avoidant dynamic, the attachment styles that I've talked about before. Anxious attachment style is like, where are you going? When will you be back? And the avoidant attachment style is like, leave me alone. I just want to go do my own thing. And I don't like people clinging on to me. That's what I'm talking about there. So, yeah. But I'm serious, you guys, wait. When you get in a relationship, wait, because first off, it shows that you value yourself. It shows that you're not just going to give yourself away to any, I hate to use the word Tom, Dick, and Harry, because two of those words sound like they already describe a penis, and I don't know what Tom means, but you know what I mean. Awesome, Queen 9. I'm glad that made sense. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. Hopefully what I said made sense. This is a good book. Come as You Are, The Surprising New Science as, let's see, Come As You Are. All right, there's the white words. Then we have The Surprising New Science That Will Transform Your Sex Life, Emily Nagoski. Now, this is specifically for Emily Nagoski. It's not for anybody else. So it's just her book. But no, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine just writing a book for one person? All right. So hopefully that made sense. And one day soon I'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Next victim. Sweetness or Becca B. Sweetness or Becca B. And I like Becca B because then I can say Becca B, Becca B, Becca B, Becca B, Becca B. It never ends. It can keep going into itself, J.D. Salinger wrote books, never wanted to be interviewed for them. Private author, loved him. Ah. The old J.D. Salinger. Or Salinger. I'll call him J.D. Salinger. I think I'd be a private author too. It's kind of like being a private detective, but I just speak thoughts to myself. I think eventually I want to work on a book. I do think I'd want to work on a book. Call it, let's see. So the name's Chance, right? So I can have fun with this in a few different ways. We could have the, actually, let me, now I lost it. It can. Art can be a private thing for sure. And I honestly feel like as long as you express yourself, no matter how that is, that's what's important. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'd do this. That might be the title of my book right there. It has my name in it. It has the topic. And I could probably do a little, little modeling on the cover. Kind of. I don't have the model look. In fact, in many pictures, my eyes are closed. Or my eyes are, I have cross eyes. Got that damn astigmatism. Or the lazy eye, as they call it in everywhere else. Hello there, Nina. How's it going? See, Nina gets it. Nina gets it. My one eye is trying to move in with my other one. And trust me, there's a restraining order now. My two eyes have to be kept far apart, but they don't quite get it yet. They don't quite get it yet. I'm working with them the best I can. Don't argue, you guys. Now's not the time. I need you to see eye to eye. And they do that. Not very well, but there we are. I'd say I'd see your point, but I don't. I'm blind, and half of the world could go by and I would be like, what are you talking about? Okay. So, let's do this here. So Mystic, are you still there? So I'm thinking we're gonna swing this pencil around here. Mystic, are you there? Okay, Ivory. Okay, no, Mystic's here. Okay, so we'll do Mystic's reading, then we'll do Ivory. Awesome, I always give you the truth. Perfect, Nina. Give me 1 second, we'll get to you. I'll spend a little extra time on you, Nina, because you're a member. I'm going to read, so Mystic, what's your question? Then Ivory, what's your question? And then I'll spend some time with Nina. Thank you, Nina, I appreciate that. So my favorite kind of fry is going to be the waffle fry, or maybe Arby's curly fries. If I had to choose, it'd be the You know what though? Waffle fries are good. I'm just going to say that, depending on where you get them, right? Depending on where you get them. Oh, July's your birthday month. Okay. Alright, let's do this then. So I'll do Ivory's question, then I'll do Nina's question, and then I'll do Mystic's question. Because Mystic is giving up their turn. And I do appreciate that. So let's see what we can come up with here. Ooh, Chick-fil-A waffle fries. Those sound good. And you said you like waffle fries, tater tots, and free fries. I like free fries too. Those are my favorite. Or, you know what? They have these other fries where it's like they're shoestring potatoes, I think is what they call them. Really thinly sliced fries. You put them in the air fryer, and in no time at all, you have some crispy little bastards you can pop in your mouth and get full on. Okay, but they are carbs. They're not going to keep you full for very long, but they're going to give you the boost you need. I can promise you that. Put the fries on a burger. Ooh, that's a good one. I think I've done that before. And from what I remember, I instantly blacked out because it was so good. Hit my head on the floor. Lost 3 years of my life that way. It's just because I like to sleep, though. I just kind of slept for a long time. I wasn't really hurting or anything, but... Oh, fries and a milkshake. Yes. Chocolate, the Wendy's. I've tried getting on board with that. And it's not that it's bad, it's just kind of weird. Fried onions are good on a... Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Fried onions. I've kind of been liking guacamole on burgers lately. Okay, so Ivory, let's do their reading here. So we've got general reading for July, birthday month. Let's look at that. Ah, okay. The fries and the milkshake you won't do. Nina, I've said it before, you gotta try new things. This is coming from someone who hasn't tried anything new in 17 years, okay? Same things. All the time, okay? I never change my underwear. I've been wearing the same socks since I was born. I'm telling you right now, change your ways. It's gonna catch up to you. It's gonna hurt you real bad, too. Gotta be willing to be flexible, guys. Alright, so we have 10 of Wands in reverse. We have 4 of Wands in reverse. 10 of Swords in reverse. 10 of Swords in reverse is a good card to have because it means you're getting over the difficult times. It means you're getting over the difficult periods. And, why is that coming through? So I had a feeling of something, and I'm starting to get all gooth pimply. All right, you know what that means. It's time for us to find Blue's Clues there, all over the house. All right, before I go into the reading here, I drew this. You guys tell me what you think of this one. Kind of hard to see. Ah, it's really blown out on camera. Anyway, it has a very nice metallic sheen to it. Not a Charlie sheen to it. It's a metallic. Not Metallica. It's just metal. You guys are confusing me, so you gotta stop. All right, I'm gonna connect. I'm not even, okay. I connected a little bit, Shirley, with you when you asked this question, and I didn't necessarily mean to, but sometimes that just happens and it's out of my control, if I can be completely and totally honest. So, well, I'll show you guys the actual one as I'm going to talk about this with Shirley here. Because I have a MacBook and I have an iPad. And, well, and I have another iPad, okay, and I've got some essential oil. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta do it like this, like the beauty gurus. There we go. All right. I saw a ring. That was one thing I was seeing was a ring. I'm macked and padded up. You know I am. You know I am, Shirley. It's not even a question at this point. That's just how I roll. But let me do this here. I saw a ring, and then I saw give me a second here. It felt like there was going to be, like, obviously it's your birthday, it's a celebration, but I'm wondering if someone's going to be getting married soon. I don't necessarily think it's you, Ivory, but it's like it feels like there's a wedding or there's something coming up, maybe in July, maybe a little bit before, but for some reason I was seeing a ring, and that to me is showing like a commitment or something along those lines. And then I got a, well, I'm just going to go into these again. So we have the Four of Wands, in reverse, the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords means you're working through things. Your niece is getting married this weekend. Okay. Are you going to the wedding? Is that something you're doing? I'm just curious why I would see that, unless you were thinking about it, or maybe it's just in your energy field. But that seems to me to be good, because as I saw the ring, I didn't feel any anything negative. No, she's in Tallahassee. Okay, so maybe you've been thinking of the ring. I'm not really sure. But that's in your energy too. Oh, awesome. Okay. So that's making sense. Somewhat. Okay. Basically, it feels like you're still going to have some difficulty, some obstacles establishing more foundational. Oh, you're married. Okay, you're married. Okay. I thought there was a guy involved that you broke up with that was going, okay. That's my bad. That's my bad. All right. Okay, let me do this here. But essentially, it's just more, there's going to be some legally, oh, okay, legally married. All right. Okay. There we go. So that's something I'm seeing. Basically, it's going to be more of a process of you in July. I feel like it's going to be more of a process of you getting your bearings. You kind of focusing more on, I guess, the journey that's at hand. Because the one thing I saw, it was like I saw a ring, and then I saw what felt like it was like a crown, right? And when I see the crown, it's going to be being in a space where you feel like you have a higher status, or being in a place where you feel like you have a higher sense of worth, is what I feel like in July. So whatever it is that you're doing now, Ivory, is going to lead to you feeling more confident in the future, which is good. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Honestly, though, your birthday month, it looks like it's going to go well. And the ring is interesting. I mean, maybe it was referring to the niece's wedding, but maybe there's something happening in July. We'll have to see, right? I can't say, does that make sense to you? It hasn't happened yet. But, yeah, let me look at something here. Hopefully, though, that makes some sense. Being more of a free reading, it's not going to be anything super, super detailed. But Nina, what was your question? You're welcome, Ivory. You're very welcome, and thank you for being patient. I know it takes me just a minute there. Okay, sorry guys, I'm trying to get this going here. Let's do this here. I feel like I walked in at the middle of the story. Nina, you're in contact now. Okay. Okay. All right. What can you expect with this reconnection? Okay. His name is Tim. Ah, yes. Okay. Short for tomorrow, I would imagine. Weird name that this person has, but what are you gonna do? Let me look here, Nina, and let me see what's going on with Tim Burton. Here. Alrighty. Nina, is it okay if I tune into your energy? I'm getting kind of bored doing the free readings, so I'm gonna jump right in here and just read the hell out of your energy field, if that's okay, to put it not so discreetly. Awesome, I can. Perfect. Perfect. Why is that coming up? Does Tim have a chihuahua or a chow chow or a dog? Why am I seeing a dog? It felt like it started with a CH, the dog breed, or maybe the name of his dog starts with a CH. Or maybe Tim's last name is a CH. I'm not so far. I'm not so sure. I started reading Shirley's comment and said so far. How far are you down the list? You're a few people down, Shirley, not too far. You don't know if he has a dog. Okay. It was just interesting that the very first thing I got was the dog. I'd say 3 or 4. I would say 3 or 4, Shirley. I don't know who's here and who's not here, so when you ask that question, it's kind of like, I'm not sure. Because I could say there's 2 people ahead of you, but there's more people ahead of you. I don't think everyone's here, though, so I don't know for sure. Give me just a second here. Okay. It may be sooner. Hopefully it is for you, Shirley. Yeah, so for some reason the dog was the first thing I saw, and then I'm seeing a fridge or a freezer. Okay, why am I seeing a fridge or a freezer? These are weird symbols so far. These are really weird symbols. Does he work in refrigeration, or does he have a cold job? Is Tim cold-hearted? What is happening here? It's like I saw the outside of a fridge, maybe appliance repair. I don't know why that's coming up first, though. And again, I'm still practicing with my psychic stuff. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But no, he's a truck driver. Okay. So what I actually said, Nina, and you misheard me, I said, does he do truck driving? And then you were like, wow, you're spot on. You're so good. Phew, man. I need the endorphins, guys. I need it. I need to feel validated. It's just a me thing. Okay, truck driver. Okay, so the dog, that's later. That's later on, Nina. We're going to kill it. We're going to destroy it. We're going to just go in there, rip the Band-Aid off. You'll bleed out. Whole deal. It's the thing. Okay. All kidding aside, though, let me see what I can find here. Does Tim have a filling on the filling in his back tooth? Okay, I know you're like wondering about relationship stuff, but apparently I'm going to describe other things about Tim that you'll have no idea about. And that's the direction we're going to go in. It's like I felt like my tooth was hurting, or I had metal in my teeth. I had something that was bothering me, and it felt like I was tasting metal in the back of my mouth. And that's unusual for me to have a taste sensation, so I'm wondering if the metal... I'd say either he's low on iron, or not that you're aware of it. Okay. I'm going to try and get things that are more concrete, things you can kind of verify here. Let's see. I see Matt holding an open hand like this. That looks a little more sinister. I see him holding an open hand like this. And it's not crinkled. It's not like they're trying to seize control or do anything like that. You said you're reconnecting with Tim. What happened before? What caused a disconnection with Tim in the first place? He had to leave 10 years ago. Okay. How would you describe at least he was in trouble? How would you describe Tim from 10 years ago? Because that sounds like where you left off with him. If you could choose 3 words to describe Tim, not like physical descriptors, unless that's really important. I don't see how that would be, though. Emotionally or mentally, how would you describe Tim in like 3 or 4 words? Like 2 positives, 2 negatives, right? But really list the positives, really list the negatives of what you feel with this connection. Okay, grown independent, hides emotions. Okay. So, and if we can jump into the stereotypical truck driver, kind of thing. He lives off of Monster Energy drinks, and yeah. No, what I'm seeing with him is I'm seeing someone holding their hand open like this, and there's like a seed or there's something in the middle of it, but it's like he's giving you something. It feels like he's extending an olive branch. He's extending a peaceful kind of thing here. I'm going to see what else I can get here, though. Is he someone, Nina, that you would say this person goes after what they want in life? Like if nothing really holds them back from going after what they would want in life? Because I was seeing him almost like spinning you around, dancing, being kind of aggressive in how he would move, but not in a way that felt harmful or hurtful. It was just kind of like more... okay, yes, all right. It definitely feels like this person takes charge. That's kind of something that I can feel with this person. He's a leader. Okay. All right. And then I'm hearing the words courage to grow as I'm looking at that. So courage to grow is really good. So maybe he's done some work on himself in an emotional way. I don't feel it's like, he's a new person. He's a damn born-again Christian, or a born-again Christian, or a Jason born-again Christian. I don't know. But I'm just saying that as a joke. Let's leave the Born series out of this, but okay, so... But courage to grow is a really good thing, especially to have in someone that views themselves as being a leader, right? Courage to grow, courage to be adaptable is going to be a very important thing. Valuable, vulnerable. So do you know why Tim is reaching out at this time? Has anything happened in this person's life where things have been shaken up? Because it feels like there's a vulnerability here. But it feels like they're trying to cover it up, too. And then I feel like I'm whispering. So it feels like I feel like this person has more of an emotional context with themselves, more of an emotional understanding. They're still not the best at expressing it. Oh, you reached out to him first. Okay. Give me one more second here. So far, what I'm picking up, it feels like a good connection. It does feel like there could be blockages in the way of like... Okay, he seems stressed, but notice he's not as expressive as before. Well, stress will do that, won't it? It's kind of hard to be yourself when you're focusing on something that may or may not happen for the future to come. So, I don't feel like the emotional part, I feel like it has improved. I do feel like it has improved. I feel like this person has learned some things, but ultimately it feels like the same person. So, not exactly the same. You know what I mean. Someone who still had those qualities, someone who still has that, but a sense of more responsibility, I guess, is now what I'm feeling, or a sense of more like accomplished endeavors. So, I would honestly say with this connection, Nina, it's looking okay. Like, I'm not seeing it being necessarily a bad connection. The main thing is how you would feel about it. You reached out to this person, so you're the one, obviously, you kind of get to be in control. Like I've said before, if this is something that you're wanting to do, something that you're possibly wanting to pursue with this person, have it be... I'm going to do 2 cards, too, just to get a little bit more information here. So what's the connection between Tim and Nina going to look like? But have it be something that comes to a slow boil, you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm feeling would be the best thing, obviously, for anybody. But it sounds to me like you're... Okay. That makes sense. Because I did see it... When I saw the hand that was open and you were grabbing it, to me that's saying, well, obviously you came to this person first, but then they extended their hand and now they're communicating back with you. So that's good. That's a good thing. This person obviously values the connection. The main thing is you're going to want to feel this person out. You're going to want to feel their energy when you're around them, when you're talking. You know, talking is one thing, being around them is going to be another. And a lot of times, I'm just going to say it like this, because from this channel, from my perspective, I'm always going to say this. I don't know you like you know you, okay? Even if I'm picking things up psychically, you know, even if I'm 1,000% right every single time, I still don't know what you know about yourself. I still don't know what it is necessarily that you're looking for in a person. I would imagine there's some core values that you're looking for: honesty, integrity, loyalty, trust, gentleness, you know, the basics, right? But I don't know how important each one of those is to you. Each person kind of has a different mixture of those tendencies, and sometimes people are okay being with someone who's more emotionally closed off because maybe they're nice in other ways. Maybe they show their love language in other ways. But it's kind of like you know what you're getting into before you get into it. And in this situation here, I want you to know that this person has done a bit of work on themselves, a bit, okay, not a lot. But there's still some expression, some work that needs to be done. But them messaging you, talking with you is a good sign. Let's look at the cards. Nina and Tim, sitting in a tree. Where in the world will they be? Let's look at this here. All right, let's do this here. Okay, let's shuffle these again. Let's get these all shuffled up here. All right. I don't know if you guys are like me, but after this, I'm going to read a bunch of Garfield comics and fall asleep. That's always how I end my nights. My eyes look so blue. That... Do they? Part of it's the computer screen. I can guarantee you that part of it is... Because I have my MacBook in front of me. So you're seeing that. You're seeing the computer screen. It makes things blue. That, and I do kind of have a filter on. I do kind of have a filter on that makes me look much more manageable, shall we say. All right, let's do this here. Can anyone tell me why men have nipples? I'm just going to throw that out there. Think about it. Think about it. I can't come up with a reason. You know it, Nina. You know it. All right. We both share a gene, so maybe that's why. It could be. But maybe it's aliens, too. Giving men nipples seems like the weirdest thing to do. Right? It's not like you'll be able to nurse a child. You'll be able to care for... Even though I have heard that in like extreme circumstances, men can produce milk. Don't want any of that, though. Man milk doesn't sound tasty to me, right? Just almond milk for me. Not all man milk. Almond. It's a completely different kind of nut milk. Okay, we're getting off topic. Everyone, calm down. Let's do this here. Nina and Tim. What do we got going on here? You're using coconut milk in smoothies. My girlfriend made me we both had a coconut milk smoothie, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, it was tasty. We have a ton of strawberries and bananas and hemp hearts and can't remember what else was in there. It was tasty though. I can go for one of those. I just want to turn on my faucet and have that because it's so good. I love coconut milk. Califia is the brand that we use. And to me, that's the best coconut milk I've ever tried. It's super creamy. It's good. It's kind of strong tasting. You have to already like the taste of coconut. Because some people hate coconut. Some people they're just not into that shit. Okay. So here's what I'm seeing here. We do have these two cards. We have the Seven of Swords in reverse, and we have the Queen of Cups. Okay? Tim feels to me like he's going through something at the moment, and I don't feel like he's someone that's going to let you in on that world. Maybe there was a divorce, or maybe there was a breakup that was messy. Queen of Cups in reverse, though, could be someone that still needs to deal with emotional things. And since Tim, right, our Tim... our little Timski here, isn't the best at looking at himself emotionally, I'm going to say probably there's some work that needs to be done here. The Seven of Swords, though, in reverse, that to me is self-sabotage in some way. So not that this person would do anything on purpose to hurt you, but it seems like this person has things that they haven't healed, and there's a saying that goes like this. Okay. If you haven't healed what cut you, you'll bleed on those who didn't hurt you. And that to me is going to be the saying that's going on here. I feel like Tim has a good heart. I feel like he's a good person, but there's something here where there's unaddressed pain, and I don't know where he puts it, right? Eventually men have to put that pain somewhere. They have to do something with it. And it sounds like his job, what he does, I feel like he can be distracted a lot of the time. Truck driving or whatever, you can listen to books, you can listen to podcasts. It sounds to me like someone who can distract themselves to not focus on the bigger picture stuff. So it's up to you if that's something you'd want to entertain. I don't think it would be a bad connection. I just think it's something where I would say with Tim, Nina, if this is something you choose to pursue, go in expecting very little in this situation, and then be pleasantly surprised when you get a little bit more. That would be kind of the analogy I'm using here. If this person is respectful to you, if they're kind with you, if they remember conversations that you had, if they know how to keep a conversation going, then that's it. That's a good match. Even if they're not necessarily the most emotionally available, if you feel like you can come to this person after a fight, okay, and you wouldn't know until you had a fight with this person, But if you feel like you can come to someone after a fight and you can talk to that person openly and honestly, that's when you know it's going to be a good match. And when I get in a fight with my partner, one of us will come to the other person, right? One of us will come to the other person, and we let the other person speak first, and we don't say anything. And I'm telling you right now, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it is so hard. I don't say a word, she doesn't say a word. When one of us is talking, we get to talk. And then the other person gets to say their thing. And what happens is that over time, it just starts to de-escalate. And it starts to de-escalate a lot because you can see that both of you are coming at it from a place where you didn't want to hurt each other, but there's misunderstandings. And there's ways that our trauma was triggered. And, we can work to heal that with ourselves and with each other. So that's kind of the situation I'm talking about there. So if you feel like you can talk with somebody, then that's going to be the most important thing. I say this all the time, okay? I probably shouldn't. I'm going to say it anyway. You guys can't stop me. You don't have any power here. I can talk over everyone. You guys are just text on a screen. Lovely text. I love it. But hear me out. Fall in love with the personality of the person. Because I'm going to say this right now, the looks will fade. I promise you they'll fade. A lot of other things will fade about this person, but if you truly love someone for their soul, that's going to be something that matches. And if you can feel that from the other person too, even if they're emotionally stunted, or even if they can be distant at times, that's going to be a good thing for you as well. But make sure you don't attract people in your life that are just going to leave you back at square one, or even worse, having more healing to do when you've already worked on yourself to this point. I am. Nina, you know I'm going to preach it. Going to have me some iced preach tea Gonna go to the preach. Gonna play with a preach ball. Princess Preach. I don't know. All I'm saying is that an apricot is like a tiny peach. I have to say this now. I have to. It's part of the job description. I hate that YouTube has me do this. Apricot, it's a little bit smaller. Just as good, guys. And I think apricots, avocados, cherries, and peaches, I think they're all called stone fruit. Or like stone, because they have the seeds in them. They're really big. And I cut my finger really bad on an avocado. Just so you guys are aware of that. If you want to know a little something about me, I was holding an avocado in my hand, and I was holding it, and the little beautiful green bastard was on my palm, okay, like a good avocado should be. And there's the pit there in the middle, and I took a knife and I went like that, and I basically tried to get the pit of the avocado out. And what ended up happening is I went like this, the knife slipped, and when the knife slipped on the seed, it went like that and cut my finger, and half of my finger is numb now. Half of my finger, my index finger, is numb, and I got this weird scar that when it's cold, it hurts. So moral of the story, if you're gonna cut an avocado, and then what was really funny, oh man, what was really funny was this. So, when I cut my finger, my first reaction was I looked down at my finger and I'm like, oh my God, I'm fine, because the blood hasn't happened yet. So I looked down at my finger, I'm like, I'm good. And then all of a sudden it's like a bloody nose, but coming out of my finger. So I'm like, this is probably not normal. And so I'm sitting here and I'm holding my finger, and the blood is just dripping everywhere. And my girlfriend comes in, and she could smell the iron in my blood before she even entered the room. She was like, what's that smell, kind of a thing. And then my dad's the safety guy down at work. He came into the room, right? And when he came into the room, he was just whistling, like kind of creepy whistling, like, I can handle this, I'm a no stress kind of situation. And my dad, I'll tell you right now, he has been in more life or death situations with other people than anyone I've ever known. He's literally on the scene when an ambulance is called and someone is dying, and he has helped save their life I don't know how many times. And he's not a medic. He doesn't do any of that stuff, but he's there when people are in trouble. It's really weird. So I cut my finger, he's there, and I didn't know that it was that, I didn't know it was that bad. Elena, my girlfriend, saying, go to the hospital, you should go to the hospital. And me being a stupid man says, you know what? No, I'm good, don't worry about it, kind of a thing. I'll tell you right now, men are stupid, because I could probably still have feeling in this finger if I listened to Elena, I can tell you that. But my dad goes and he puts gauze directly on the wound, right? He puts gauze directly on the wound, and I will tell you right now, you do not put gauze on an open wound. You don't. You put something else on, and then you put gauze around it. You don't put gauze directly on a wound. For those of you that are wondering, gauze is this very, it's like a sticky lattice type thing that goes around your finger. And so he puts the gauze on my finger. The next day, I need to change the bandage. And I spent a half hour in the bathroom with a bowl of water, dipping my finger in, and sweat was just pouring down my forehead. I was sweating because it hurt so bad. I had to put my finger in the bowl, and then I had to slowly pull the gauze off, and it hurt so bad. And you could see I had pictures of it. I don't want to see if I can find those pictures, because it's like my finger, I don't know, that knife went in pretty deep, and it just cut straight across. And anyway, not a fun experience. Oh, thank you guys. It's more of a story of caution. When you have an avocado, just put it down. Just put it down and cut it. Don't be stupid, right? I didn't know that would happen, but now ever since that happened, I'm much more careful, because I almost got Final Destination, you know, where it's like a seemingly innocuous thing is happening and then you die from it. Can you imagine? Local boy dies from an avocado. People would be like, how the hell does someone die from an avocado? And then they'd be like, oh, it's him. I get it. I understand. You had an avocado today. Well, there you go. There you go. Avocados, they're delicious. They are dangerous. Don't let anyone tell you they're not. But they're tasty. They have their moments. Avocados and smoothies, delicious. So many times. You cut towards yourself too. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm telling you guys right now, if you have an option to cut your finger or to not cut your finger, don't cut your finger. Okay, it hurts. It doesn't feel good. If I had to rate it on a scale from 1 to 5, it would be like 3 cut fingers out of 5. And if I had to give it a Yelp review, I would do it again. I wouldn't be happy about it. Yes. So just hear me out. Just hear me out on that. Okay, let me see what we have up here. Yeah, Jody says, no, you do not. You have to put cream on it first. Tell that to the past version of me. All right. They need to hear it. Not a fun time. Okay. You fell down a staircase and they thought I was going to be paralyzed or broken neck and rushed me to another hospital. Don't feel bad. Yeah, I hear you, Shirley. And I get it, guys. I get it. It's... You know this guy who purchased a Bi-Mart knife and cut his leg into his tendon trying to cut blackberries out. Oh. Ooh, man. Ooh. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the scene from Misery. If you guys haven't seen it, there's this scene in Misery where Kathy Bates kidnaps... Who's the guy in Misery? The guy that's in the... Anyway, she basically kidnaps this guy, and she's trying to help him get well. I'm using that in quotations. And she puts his legs are between... His leg is... Okay, he has one leg here. Yeah, the author. He has one leg here and one leg here, and in between his two legs, there's like a board separating his legs. If I can remember this right, and she takes a sledgehammer, and she just... I mean, both legs, or both feet, and just, oh man, that scene makes me cringe every time. But, yeah, the author... Is that what he's known as? He's just the author? Is that his, like, title? She loved him, I know, and love hurts. We all know that. Love hurts specifically in the ankles, and a little bit up higher, but specifically the ankles, right? It makes him buckle. The guy who cut his leg was really mean and an abusive person, so I don't know if it was karma from the universe or God. Okay, I don't care anymore. I mean, if you cut your leg and you're an asshole, right? It sounds like he gave himself another asshole, so double the fun there. Yeah. If mean people cut themselves, I'm kind of like, okay. But if he was a nice person, I would have been upset. So thank you, Shirley, for letting me down easy, telling me that he was a piece of shit regardless. I think the knife had a karmic destiny to cut his ass, missed a little bit and went into his leg. James Caan. Okay. I wish I could say I knew who that was. Do you think that's payback? Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'll notice that the people that are really mean and abusive are also very irrational as well, and they do this to themselves in a lot of ways, but it's because they're so irrational. You cut your knuckle off doing dishes, glass broke. Hold on. You cut your knuckle off? I wasn't aware that was a body part that could be separated from the... What? He played Santino on Godfather, the hothead son. Haven't seen Godfather. 1, 2, 3, or the Godmother series. Haven't seen those ones either. The skin over your knuckle. Okay. Nina, don't be surprised. You've never had boba. Okay? You have no room to give me a what with that many question marks. I can promise you that. Go have some boba, and then we can talk about me watching The Godfather. 7 stitches and you were fixed up. That's the difference, though. Women will go to the hospital. They'll get themselves taken care of. They'll do what needs to be done. Men are babies. I didn't want to go because I was scared of the doctor. I can tell you that right now. I hate doctors. Hate them. When I was a little kid, did not. I was in hospitals in and out a lot. So hospitals are not my favorite place to be. I'm not going to let that go, Nina. You know I'm not going to let that go. Just go have some damn boba. I mean, it's not hard. You probably live in a place where you could like walk down the street. Just try it. Jody, I'm telling you, you're very sweet. You're very nice. I just didn't want to hurt me more than I already was, but I should have done it. I should have done it. I don't go to the hospital either. You're afraid of getting more sick. Yeah, so Nina, you've got a good head on your shoulders there. You guys know when to go to the hospital when it's kind of getting to a point where it's unbearable. How men work is this. The pain gets to a certain point and then we die. And then that's it. Okay, there's no middle ground. It's just kind of like it builds up, it's over. So men are stupid, all right? And I'm considering myself one of those. Right, Nina, you said it went to a 6, you went to the hospital. A man would get to a 6, and he would say, I'll see how I'm feeling in 2 weeks. It'd get to a 12, and he'd be like, you know what? Living's overrated. And then that's it. Oh, gosh, I'm worked up. Okay, I'll be back, guys. Hold on one second. And Mystic, if you're still there, we can do your question. Sorry that took so long for me to jabber on and on there, but with your kidney though, no, that would be different. That would be different because I've had organ pain before, and I don't mean pain when I was in organ, even though that would be an awful experience. I mean, so yeah, go ahead, Mystic, drop it like it's hot or cold. But I'll be right back. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to do this, and if you guys want to, please consider signing up. We're going to be Discording. There's going to be video games. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. So sign up for this if you guys are up for it. It costs you less than 7 $1 coffees a month, okay? You could save my life. I don't know. You're in Oregon, so you understand the pain. Surely you get it. You get it. There you go. I'll be right back. I hope you guys like all the cats on the screen. I had fun making this one. It was kind of fun. I just put the stuff together. I didn't make this by hand or anything, but, you know. I'm not going to take credit for that. Okay, so Mystic says, I believe I can have something really fruitful with this one guy that I like. His name is James. I admitted how I... Okay. I admitted how I feel and he reacted well, was flattered, we talked for a bit, just getting to know each other. Then all of a sudden he ghosted me. I texted him asking what happened, like, did he lose interest in me? Should I leave him alone? But he didn't say anything, not giving me a yes or no, and thus leaving me in a place where I'm still interested but have no clue what to do next. Should I say nothing and wait for him to potentially get out of whatever phase he's in? Should I reach out or should you move on from him? Oh man. You know what, Mystic? I like you. Your energy, your vibe, the cut of your jib, whatever that means. I assume it's a part of the body that you cut off to show someone's character or how old they are. Here's what I'm going to say with this, and I say this to everyone. If someone has ghosted you, you ghost them. You go ghost mode. Do not wait for this person to get over whatever it is. There's this invention. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see where it is. Let me see where it is. There it is. It's called a phone. Now, you can text. You can do all sorts of stuff with this thing. And at any point in your life, you can message someone and tell them what's going on, tell them how you feel, and get a response. This person is a coward. They do not deserve your time. Right now, you're in a place of, like, this hit an emotional wound for you. This triggered some trauma for you. And so when this person left, it could have triggered some abandonment wounds. And that's why you're feeling even more attached to this person. I can tell you right now, even if you were to get in a relationship with this person, and I don't think it's going to happen, you would not be happy. Because in the back of your mind, you would always think he could just do it again, okay? This right here, this person's behavior, you told them you liked them. This was them showing you their best behavior, and they ghosted you. Usually when people are in that phase, they show you their best behavior, and this person still ghosted you. So in respect to yourself, I would definitely say, do not go after this relationship. You deserve something so much better. So that's something I would say, and I do not give anyone who ghosts a second chance. And on this channel, I know my name is Chance, but in that case, there are no second chances. Because you deserve something so much better than someone who's like, you know what I'm going to do with your heart? I'm just going to toss it off to the side, step on it, maybe take a shit, do that whole thing, okay? But however, shit can be useful. Shit can grow vegetables. This person's even below that. I don't appreciate people that do this to another person because you can talk to somebody, you can tell them what's going on. Is it painful to hear that the person isn't into you? Absolutely, but at least you have an answer. At least then you have an answer. When you're left with no answer, all you do is spin in your mind and you're like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done different? Did he read into this? Did I say something wrong? Did I do this? No, you didn't do anything wrong. You're dealing with a jerk, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm feeling that second coffee. You know what I mean? I'm feeling it. It's fueling me up. But yeah, you guys deserve so much better than that. I have friends that ghost me and it's bye-bye. So long. Oh, thank you. I know, Mystic, it's not what you want to hear. Yeah, there we go. Jody, Nina, and Shirley have it right. And I'm not just saying that because they agree with me. I am a little bit. But in this situation, it is really important for you to walk away. You're going to go into a couple stages here. So on this channel, I talk about this a lot. And I'm gonna go into this, and I want you to listen to me, Mystic, on this because you're going to go through some phases here. All right? It doesn't matter how involved the relationship was, if it never started, if it didn't get off the ground, whatever. These are kind of the steps we go through. when you accept that this person has done what they've done, and you're no longer in a state of like cloudiness about it, because at first when this kind of thing happens, you're kind of holding out hope. The first day that it happens, you're thinking, okay, well, they'll message me tomorrow. The second day that it happens, you're thinking, well, okay, I'll give them some time. You know, they're probably in a weird headspace. It's okay for you to get angry. It's okay for you to express those kinds of emotions. I want you to know that that's absolutely fine, because in this situation, it's warranted. You need to let yourself feel those emotions. And it's not something that we give to anybody. And in this situation here, yes, it hurts. Again, it's triggering the abandonment, it's triggering those wounds. And you're going to go through states of wanting this person, and you're going to go through states of despising this person. And it's okay to switch between those two things. Okay, so I'll talk about that too, Mystic, and we'll mention this here. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So, but you're going to go through stages of being confused, of feeling kind of flopping back and forth. Eventually, you'll feel the truth of the situation. You won't feel confused anymore. You will feel pain, but eventually you feeling it will start to heal it, and you can move on in that direction. And if this person does message you again, it's basically the universe saying, are you sure you're healed from this? And your response would be not to message them back if you want to heal from this. Because any way of interacting with this person after this point on, even if it's to vent anger, even if it's to say, I hate you, or I hate what you've done to me, or anything like that, that ties you with them even more. We want to break the connection. I know you're angry. I know you're upset, but they don't deserve to hear it. They do not deserve to hear it. And they don't get the liberty of hearing how upset you are with them, because they're not emotionally giving you any support at all. So it would do something for you in the moment. You would feel okay for a second, but ultimately it wouldn't help you with anything, and it further ties you with someone if you message them and say how much you dislike what they did. So that needs to be something that we talk about. Now, when we're talking about this, the reason I have zero tolerance for it, for ghosting, for cheating, for any of those kinds of things. And I view those two as being the same. Because if someone is too cowardly to speak to you about those kinds of emotions, they're going to be so cowardly to speak to you about anything that's real. Right? And yes, narcissistic people do that. And you went through cycles of people ghosting you, and you'll continue to do that until you understand your own self-worth and you start focusing on self-love. You'll keep attracting those kinds of situations to yourself until you start to heal. So what I'm going to say is this, okay? You want to know what's coming next for you in love? I'm going to be real with you and say it like this. No on what's coming next for you in love. The reason why is this. You're using it as a form of escaping from feeling the pain that you're going through. A lot of times we use relationships as a way for us to not focus on ourselves and to focus on somebody else. And when we do that, we become codependent in that relationship, and our identity relies on that other person. You need to take a year off at least to discover yourself, who you are, and focus on who you are as a person before, in my opinion, before you start getting yourself out there again, because a part of you has been lost. A part of you has been lost, and you need to reclaim that. And eventually, when you have reclaimed it, you won't attract people in your life like this that will do these kinds of things to you, but you need to go through a healing process, and you need to see who you are and kind of how you feel about everything. That is going to be the most important thing for you in this situation. Does that make sense, Mystic? We just don't want to use a relationship as a form of escapism. Okay, we have video games, we have the computer, we have other ways we can escape, but do not use a partner as a means for escaping. All right? Yeah, Conqueror, I can give you a reading. But that's, yeah. And I'll say this too, and you guys, the way I say this, I know it's going to sound harsh, but it's what I firmly believe in. And are there exceptions to this? I'm sure. And could I be wrong with what I'm saying? Absolutely. Okay, so take this with a grain of salt. Suffering teaches us so much more than being comfortable ever will. 100% guaranteed. Suffering teaches us the places we need to go because our body is screaming out in pain and it's forcing us to pay attention to that pain. And eventually we felt so much pain, we felt so much hurt that we don't allow that to happen with us anymore. We do not allow it into our space, into our field. And that's when we start the healing process. That's when we start that, is when we realize that we're worth that much more. And suffering teaches us that. Suffering is an incredibly powerful teacher. It's harsh, but it gets it done. Yeah, then you have thicker skin from it. And I can tell you right now, no matter how much it hurts now, it does get easier. Things do move on. You might go through a bit of a grieving process, mourning someone that you feel like you could have planned things with, you could have done things with. Let yourself go through the mourning process, because in a way, they are kind of gone, right? So the grieving process comes in there because maybe there was plans for the future, maybe there was ideas that you had, and so it's important to let those things go with him. And what I mean by that is go through the grieving process. My problem is I'm the first girl he's ever had anything potentially romantic with. Maybe he's just scared and unfamiliar with this, and that's valid, right? No. I'm going to say no because they could talk to you. They could talk to you and say exactly what you said. You're a very nice person, Mystic. I can feel that from you. And so what you do is you give people the benefit of the doubt. And you're going to continue to give people the benefit of the doubt because you say, I'm a nice person. Other people are nice too. And I'm not saying this person doesn't have good qualities, okay? But I am saying this. They can talk with you. They can be open with you. They can be real with you if that is how the person feels, rather than you coming on here and guessing that this is how they feel, because that's what you're doing. You're guessing. You don't know one way or the other. And that's not fair to you. Okay, if there is something this person has to say or something this person needs to say, they need to be able to talk to you like an adult. Or, I don't know how old you are. If you're 5 years old, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But they need to talk to you like they respect you. When someone ghosts you, they show you that they don't care about you, the time you've spent, or anything like that. And it's not fair to you. They could say this, right? They could say, I'm really sorry, but when you said that to me, it freaked me out. I don't know what to do with that. I'm sorry, I don't know how to handle this. And then that's an answer. That's at least an answer. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Kelly. And another thing is this, if you're in a relationship and someone is doing the hot and cold bullshit, I'm telling you right now, let that person go. In a relationship, there shouldn't be hot and cold, and you shouldn't enter a relationship that has a lot of drama either. Because the drama, sometimes we feel like love lies in dysfunction, and so we attract dramatic or traumatic relationships, but I'll tell you right now that it does not help us in the long run. That right there is... that's dysfunctional love, right? We have unconditional love and we have conditional love. If we're ever with somebody and we feel like we have to perform tasks in order to be in their presence, like we have to do everything just right and we have to do all this in order to get any love or appreciation from them, get out of that situation. Unconditional love is allowing you to grow and to change as things move on, and that person does the same. You're both bringing something to the relationship. In my opinion, there's 3 people in a relationship. There's you, there's the other person, and then there's both of you when you're together. And each one of those needs to be growing and evolving for the relationship to stay alive. That has to be one of the things. The hot and cold thing is... okay, so the hot and cold thing would be this. And we'll get to your thing, Kelly. Hold on one second. Hot and cold would be if someone... Like, let's say you ignore someone. And when you ignore someone, then they come closer, right? And then when you're starting to focus on that person, they move away. And so it's like this continual game of like tug of war of trying to get each other's attention. But you have to ignore the person for them to come forward. But then when you focus on them, they run away. That's what I mean by hot and cold. And generally this is used in the anxious and avoidant attachment style. Anxious people want to cling to things. They want to cling to other people because they feel like that person has a stronger sense of identity, or that person has like something that they need that they can't make for themselves. The avoidant person doesn't want anything to do with that and is very cold and likes to run off as soon as they get the chance to. And the anxious and the avoidant attract each other like you wouldn't believe, okay? The anxious gets to say no over and over, or the avoidant gets to say no over and over again and move away from the person. And in a way, that sort of reaffirms their trauma, but it also feels kind of good. And the anxious person, in a way, is punishing themselves by trying to chase someone that obviously doesn't want them, but they're not, yeah. And then there's, like Nina's saying there, dismiss avoidant. Because it's called the attachment style theory, it is a theory. I believe it's a fact, but different psychologists are going to call it different things because it is a theory. So different psychologists have come up with different names for things. Like you have anxious, avoidant, secure, okay? And then you have anxious avoidant, which is like both, like you can switch, and different ones. And then there's different names for different things, but ultimately they come down into a few categories, maybe a little bit more. But secure is what you want to have in a partner. Preoccupied, okay. You gave up and decided to chase, trying to get more work. There you go. So hopefully that makes some sense. Yeah. Yeah, and trying to become secure, in my opinion, that's a journey best taken alone. And ultimately, you guys, whatever I'm saying to you, and no matter how hard I say it, no matter, how hard I preach it, if you do get yourself in this situation where you are with this person, even though I said, not to do it, please feel free to still come here and talk with me, because I'm not judging your guys on your decisions. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, and giving you life experiences that I can understand. So that's the whole point of that. I'm not going to judge you if you come on here and say, oh, I'm with this person. Right. And like Jeremy says, alone is not always lonely. Nina says, gotta heal your traumas. Chance says, I hope it's taco night. I always say that, though. But hopefully that makes some sense. And I don't sound like a dying old dog. As much as I can, Shirley, as much as I can. I'm not a therapist. I'm not, I'm not qualified in those ways, but I sort of understand it, and I can see where people are coming from. A lot of people that come on this channel, there's pain and there's trauma, but you're good people. You are good people. So I want you to avoid the mistakes that a lot of us make moving out there. We're not given a book on how to love or how to be loved in return. That should be something that's taught in schools. Emotional support and guidance, how to love and be loved in return, how to support people that have been through trauma. Those should be taught in school, not social studies and math and stuff. Like, yes, teach those things, but after you teach the other stuff, sexual education, proper sexual education, make it so that people don't feel gross or disgusted by just being alive. Have you gone through this ghosting thing? Not personally, but I've seen people that it's happened to. And because of watching them go through it and watching the pain that they went through, I completely understand that it is unbelievably painful. And that's why when I'm talking to you guys, I don't get upset. I try not to get, too involved. I want you guys to see things from a third-party perspective, because when that person was going through that much pain, I wished I could have told them this. I wish I knew what was going on and what was happening, but I had to watch videos. I had to try to understand from their point of view. And yeah, that's kind of the whole deal. But pain is pain no matter what. And yeah. I've been ghosted and you've ghosted, but we cannot demand an answer. No. When we demand an answer, it ties us further into the situation. We have to move on, as painful as that is. As much as it seems like we're wasting an opportunity, it's actually for your best interest. Sometimes we lose our moral compass our emotional compass along the way. And because we lose that emotional compass, we don't know how to trust ourselves. So I'm hopefully here to help you guys get the GPS back on track and kind of move into that direction. Again, I don't have answers on everything, but that's true too, what Jeremy says. I forewarned and I was thick-headed because my heart took over my head. Yeah, and the thing is that there's a saying that is my favorite, and you guys that have been on here for a while have heard me say it many times, but it's we're all just walking each other home, meaning that life is just a journey in which we get to partake in with other people, and at the end of the day, we're no longer here anymore. In my opinion, we're not physical bodies, not really. There's a soul, there's a spirit there. And I feel like at the end of the day, everything is borrowed. Our bodies are borrowed. Our homes are borrowed. Everything is just borrowed. We're given a time frame that makes us feel comfortable, And the saying, till death do us part, is also an interesting one, isn't it? But there's like this borrowed sense of everything around us. I don't get to keep this body. This is a rental, okay? Sometimes I don't treat it too well, but I've got insurance, so we're good. But the main thing is that we will all die one day. And to me, that's a liberating thing. Because it means whatever I'm doing, no matter how embarrassed I can get, no matter how weird it can be, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to give a shit, in 2 centuries. Probably no one's going to give a shit now. And that's okay. That's all right. The things we can take with us, in my opinion, we have wisdom, love, and experience. And knowledge. And, hacky sack, I guess. That's one of the exceptions, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But that's what I'm talking about, is that I honestly feel like love and wisdom and experience, those are the main things we take with us when we go. And we do make mistakes. And the whole point of us making mistakes isn't to beat ourselves up for it. When we know better, we do better. Okay, I think Maya Angelou, I don't know how to say her name, but she said that when we know better, we do better. And so beating ourselves up for the things that we didn't know does not help us. In fact, it's further empowering the victimhood or the ego, because by saying, I wish I knew that, I could have done better, it's like, no, you're beating yourself up for no reason. Look at your ego. It's trying to validate itself. It's trying to do this and that. You're trying to be a victim in this situation. Realize that at the time you didn't know, and that's okay for you not to know. Hey there, Elizabeth, how's it going? That's okay. That is okay for you not to know these things. Because it's, again, we're not given a handbook on this. Took me a long time to find I even had emotions, that I even had anything that was remotely feeling things, It took me a while, and other men out there have had that too. I know that for a fact, that other men struggle with a sense of identity when it comes to emotions. Is it girly? Is it this? Is it that? Oh my God, the worst thing you can be is a girl or gay if you're a guy. Holy shit. I hate that. I hate it so much. I love the color pink. I say things are cute all the time or adorable. And that just means I'm me. There's no gender attached to that. There shouldn't be. Right? And I'm just tired of that. And masculinity for men gets called into question more than you can imagine. And it's just not right. It's just not right that that's the case. And if someone says that's gay, or if someone says, you throw like a girl or whatever, I want to punch them, because it's like, what the hell does that mean? You're implying that one sex is weaker than the other, but also you're implying that there's a sense of uselessness with one of the genders. The gender that gave birth to you as a person is kind of useless in the end, right? Because they didn't create life. They didn't, put you in this world. No, they're too stupid to do that. I'm going to calm down. I'm just saying, there's a lot of weird injustices out there, and that's one of them that I've just hated. When I was a kid, I thought the color pink was for girls only. And then as I got older, my favorite colors, I love white and pink together. They're awesome. I like other colors too. But yes, we need both. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's kind of the whole thing. I'm breathing, Jeremy, don't worry. Whew. No, I'm breathing. I get like this a lot. You'd be surprised. But, Kelly, let's get to your question here. Red and navy blue is one of my favorites as well. Well, I don't know if it's navy blue, but I love red and blue combined together. The teal with the rusty red, perfection. Es gusta. Yes, it does, Jeremy. Being passionate is one of the best things we can do because passionate people can help change the world. I'm not trying to say I'll change the world, but maybe in some small way, I can help affect change. You know, some small way. I don't need anything grand. I just want $1 billion, a mansion, 2 mansions. Let's be honest here. I need a mansion to put my mansion in when I'm not mentioning my mansion, and then I'm good. You know, those are my things. Nice, you love those colors too. Awesome. And burgundy is your favorite color. Good, good, good. They say let's see. Supposedly, no, I'm getting off track here. I am getting off track, so I'll leave myself to be here for a second. All right, Kelly, thank you for that question. So what I'm talking about is kind of similar to what you're saying, right? Codependency is a really interesting thing because codependency is a really interesting thing because usually when we're codependent, something happens in us where we don't feel secure enough to have our own sense of identity, and we don't feel like it's appropriate for us to express ourselves. So we develop codependent tendencies. And this makes it so that in the world, we feel like we have to have another person to operate. Sometimes it's with basic things, sometimes it's with really big things. But it makes it so that we feel like without that other person being there, we can feel a sense of loss, like lostness, you know? And so it can be really, really hard to separate that thing, the two energies here. The first thing I would say with the codependent energies in this case is going to be to take your energy, and I know I talk about this a lot, and it sounds frou-frou in a way, but if we can focus on grounding, that's going to be huge. Huge. And yes, enmeshment, absolutely. I was going to get to that too. But generally speaking, it's kind of like you're wanting to become the person that you're codependent on, but at the same time, you leave behind parts of your own personality because you haven't discovered them yet, but you also haven't let yourself discover those parts of your personality because there's fear in expressing yourself. And so you need to be in a place where you feel comfortable expressing yourself. And that's if something happens, you say what's going on. You know, if someone asks you a question, you answer it honestly. That's hard to do. I get it. And in the spiritual community, people have an incredibly difficult time, a really difficult time expressing themselves, being honest and forthright. Not that they don't want to be honest, not that they don't want to be forthright, but they lack the conviction to do so because they don't feel like they're strong enough to say how they feel, or they feel like they'll be attacked for having an opinion. All right? So that's kind of where I'm, thank you, Shirley. You're very sweet. I appreciate that. But that's kind of what I'm talking about. So when we're looking at developing our own sense of self, a good way to kind of go back to the basics, is to, what did we like doing when we were children? A lot of times what we liked doing when we were children was what we would like to do now, like more in an adult way. But so when we're children, we're not as self-conscious. We're not self-conscious. We don't really focus on the self that much. We focus on having fun. We focus on being liberated, being free, whatever that happens to be for us. Oh, you do it through okay. Not codependent with anyone, just temporarily for a few moments, then you move on. I just do it through conversations. Okay, so then you need to build up your empathic barrier. Let's call it that. So, let's do this. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. So, an empath, I've used this analogy before, but let's do this here. Okay. So let's say that this is what we look like. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys a kind of a rough draft of what this looks like here. So you'll have to bear with me here. All right. All right, so I'll go like this. And then we have this right here. And you're also trying to find yourself too, right, Kelly? And I can understand there can be a codependency with spiritual mentors because it feels like they have answers to questions that you don't have yet. But when you become someone who starts learning and who starts growing in those ways, it becomes easier and easier for you to have the answers yourself as time goes on. And it's okay to go through these phases. There's nothing wrong, and I don't want you to feel any shame for feeling that. So, this is what we have right here, okay? That says sponge, and then right below that sponge, there is some dirty water. Every single one of us that is empathic and has that kind of activated, we are like a sponge that gets dropped in dirty water. The sponge does not care that it's dirty water. It's going to absorb it anyway. It doesn't care that it's dirty. It doesn't care that it's clean. That sponge is going to absorb that water and all the bacteria that's in it. What we need to do as empaths is this, okay? We need to kind of have this sort of thing right here. I'll kind of show you. Okay. We need to put a little barrier around our sponge, okay? The barrier, that circle around the sponge, that is a strong sense of self, and if the sponge drops in that water, it still maintains its independence, and it still has boundaries, and it still has a sense of self. But we become codependent with people in these kinds of situations. Like you said, for a little bit, you become codependent. It's because we feel like other people know more than we do. It's because we have low self-esteem, and it's because we need to build ourselves up. And the way we can build ourselves up is we have to have things that we enjoy doing in ways that we feel like we're progressing in life. And we need to look at our character and how our character is developing, because that's going to be one of the most important things. A lot of times our self-esteem raises when we have the qualities and the tendencies that we ourselves would want to adopt. Would we want to be an honest person? Do we feel like we're living that life? Would we want to do this? Do we feel like we're living the way that we want to live? And a lot of times if the answer is no, there's self-esteem that needs to be built up. There's something that needs to be built up there, and that's usually character development. That's usually focusing on the areas where you can get better, and we can look at learning new things, reading, going to classes, whatever it is we need to do. But if there is a gap in our knowledge, the internet is our friend. And sometimes it's too broad and it's too wide of a topic to really get into. But that's going to be the main thing that helps in this situation, is that we need to establish a sense of self. And we do that by realizing that we have something to offer. Other people do as well. But just like this analogy that I'll give you right here, when the flowers bloom in the springtime, the flower doesn't look at the other flower that's right next to it and say, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. I'm just not gonna bloom because I can't compete with you." No, the other flower next to that flower says, "You know what? I'm gonna add something to this myself. I'm gonna add my own uniqueness to this." Even if it's the same flower, it still knows that it has something to offer to the world. And you're not the same flower. Each and every one of us is incredibly different. And especially if we're talking about the spiritual concepts, if you want to work in that field, people will require different spiritual people in their life. They will. People won't resonate with me, but they'll resonate with you, and vice versa. And it goes that way with anyone. So if you think that the way you do things or the way things are happening, it's not good enough, it is. Trust me, there will be people that respond, people that resonate. But we have to take ourselves out of our comfort zone, and we need to start building up our self-esteem and working through the traumas that we have, right? That's the situation I'm talking about here. What am I supposed to do? Meditate in a tent in the backyard and cut people out, all people who are in my life, to get to know me? No. You make it so that your opinion of yourself is higher than the opinion of other people around you. You make it so that your sense of self-worth is just as valid as anyone else's sense of self-worth. It's not that you become better than another person, but you're putting yourself on the same level as other people. We think other people are more important than ourselves. That's the main thing that's going on here. No one is more important than you are, and you're not more important than anybody else. There is an equalness here, but for some reason you feel like you deserve less than. It's not about cutting people off. It's about finding yourself. A lot of times cutting people off is a part of it because we need to do that to find ourselves. Other people can cloud our judgment. Other people can second guess things. Other people can look at the good work that we're doing and they can say, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And then we question ourselves. We gaslight ourselves. We make it so that it's damn near impossible for us to find a real answer, and then we get confused. So it's about getting rid of the people in your life, at least for the moment, that will stop or hinder your progress or say what you're doing is stupid or it doesn't hold value or it doesn't hold merit. And another thing to do, Kelly, in my honest opinion, keep this stuff to yourself that you're going through. Because, and yeah, no is a complete sentence. I like that. You meant temporary. I know you meant temporarily. Obviously, if you go in the backyard, you're not going to be able to cut people off for long, but you just need to get to know yourself in that way. So that's kind of the whole thing. People will have different life circumstances that they go into, and yeah, it's up to you, Kelly, on how you want to handle that. But you need you need to understand that you're just as important as anyone else. You're just as valuable as anyone else who's ever lived, and no matter what you do or don't do, you still maintain that value. Okay, we live a life where we've gone from being human beings to human doings, and if we're not human doing something, then we don't deserve to be a human being, right? And that's not the case at all. Each and every one of us, regardless of our accomplishments or none of our accomplishments, we don't deserve any extra treatment. We don't deserve anything special. We each deserve to live no matter what our life looks like. No matter what that looks like for us as a person, we deserve to live, and we deserve to feel love, and we deserve to be appreciated. Those things we definitely deserve. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. I do get it though, you know. A lot of this stuff sounds, how do I do that? What do I do? We can read books, we can learn from other people. I have resources. I have resources if you guys are interested in knowing these resources and finding things out for yourself. I do have resources. There you go. Yes, Jeremy's right. Both of those channels are good. Dr. Romani is good. Lisa Romano is good. Crappy Childhood Fairy is good. Patrick Tihan is good. And the School of Life channel and Emotional. I have his book, Alain de Botton's book in the background there. That's an Emotional Education by Alain de Botton. Very good book. And he's the one that runs the School of Life channel. So those are really good resources. So, but we need to put ourselves in a place where we're kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired. If you're feeling this way, Kelly, you need to be the one that changes this. Haven't heard of Howell Consultations channel. I'm sure it's a good one. But yeah, so take those resources, look up the areas where you feel like you're deficient in, realize that it isn't about judging yourself, it's about loving yourself in these situations, and healing takes a specific form of gentle love that we need to give to ourselves. So don't beat yourself up on this process. Realize that everyone's journey is different. You're no further ahead or behind than anyone else. Everyone's just on a different journey. Comparing ourselves to other people doesn't make any sense because they are not us. So, yeah. It's like comparing fingerprints. If I walked up to you guys and I held up two fingerprints, I'd say, which one's better? You'd be like, I don't give a shit. They're fingerprints. Why does it matter? Right? Or comparing trees. Which tree is best? It's a matter of perception. It doesn't mean anything. So there is no best. There is no absolute and there is no perfect, but there is what we can do as people that matters. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, better for beginners. All right. Okay, how can you do this while working? Best thing to do, Kelly, I'm going to say this. Watch one short video, like 10 minutes. Watch one 10-minute video from one of the sources I suggested, or that Jeremy suggested. And I mean short, like 5-10 minutes long. Ease yourself into this. because there's no reason why you can't do it. I understand there's work. I understand there's other things going on too. But if the healing journey is something that you want to go on, you have to realize you do have to put effort into it. And it's not something that just happens. You have to do it yourself. You have to decide, like, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You have to decide that it's something that you want to do moving forward. And so it's really important. We can set time aside for anything we really want to do. We just have to find the things that we can push to the side to do this. How important would the healing journey be to us, right? How important would that be to us? And how can we prioritize that? In many ways. We don't need to watch an hour-long documentary or 2-hour-long documentary every single day for 5 years. That's not what I'm talking about. Watch a video, think about it, feel it, and try to understand it. And Jeremy says it's a lifelong journey, right? And it is. And life is meant to be a journey, not a destination. There is no I've arrived, it's it. Right? There's just, we keep going. And so that's the area where we need to step in there. But it sounds to me, Kelly, like you're missing, and I was too, some fundamentals when it comes to emotional understanding of the self. And I still struggle with it to this day. Right? I'm still on my own journey. I'm still learning things. I'm still trying to get better. But it sounds to me like there's just some gaps in your knowledge, and that's it. That's all there is. It's not because you're stupid. It's not because of anything like that. When we're struggling with self-confidence or self-esteem, it makes it really difficult for us to want to improve ourselves because we're just barely trying to get by. Some days it's a lot of depression. Some days it's just hard to get up and take a shower, let alone trying to do self-care and trying to uncover psychological trauma or wounds that we've had in the past. I get that it's hard. I get that it's difficult. And you're not alone if it feels like it's a big task, but break it up into little tiny chunks. Make it so that it's not this huge daunting thing. Make it so you don't have to learn everything in one day, because you won't. And it's not about learning as much as you can, as fast as you can. It's about learning something, processing it, feeling it, and healing it. That's the whole point of it. Does that make sense? You're welcome, Kelly. The love or fear from a situation, Jeremy, is interesting, but if we don't know ourselves well enough, love and fear can be two sides of the same coin without even knowing what exactly is going on. We may love something, but we're scared of it. You know, that could absolutely be something. We may want to succeed, but we're scared of success, right? And so there can be those two kinds of things going on. We need to understand where things are coming from, why things are coming from. We basically need to get a hold of ourselves. We need to understand where these kinds of messages are coming from. Do we feel like we're scared because there's a reason to be scared, or do we feel like we're scared because of something that's looming in the back of our minds? Where are our emotions from? Where are they going? And, you know, where are they now, kind of a thing. That's the main thing we need to focus on, and not holding on to emotions, realizing that you let them go as easy as you would anything else. You know, let the blades of grass fall. Let everything happen the way it needs to, and realize that we cannot control life. We can just control our response to life. We can control our response. We can control our reaction to life, but we cannot control life itself. Life is messy for a reason. It's not meant to be contained, right? It's life. It's meant to be lived. It's meant to be lived in. And if you look at things that are lived in, if you look at houses that are lived in, they're slightly messy, they're slightly disorganized, and it's because there's something there. And so that's kind of where I'm from too. Okay, so I'm going to be right back. I got to go take a pee-pee. And then, yeah, I'm coming right back. Okay. Have a good one, Jeremy. All right. There we go. Who's next? Do you want to go next, Shirley? You've been here for a minute. Let's get your turn going here. You're very welcome, Kelly. Very, very welcome. We are, let me see here. Let's see. I can't see how long the video's been going, but maybe go about 30 minutes back from where we are now. And it's about 3 hours long, so at some point you keep skipping forward, you'll find it. Yoshi, be good. Why do you keep tipping that over? Shoot. There we go. Can you please tell me, should I call Glenn about the job? He was texting me Sunday and Monday, then stopped, or should I text him? Oh, should you call him or should you text him? All right, let's do this then. What would be the outcome? What would be the outcome if you called Glenn? All right, Nina, have a good one. You're welcome, Shirley. And thank you, Nina, for coming on here and being supportive. I appreciate that, my friend. Oh, thank you, Nina. You're very sweet. Thank you. And you're sweet too, Shirley. All right, let's do this here. And hopefully you get feeling better before too long, Nina. All right, let's see what we can find out here. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna be moving on in here, seeing what we can find out for Shirley. Alrighty. Oh, you're welcome, Shirley. You're welcome. Let's do this here. Hey there, I am Coco. How's it going? So I'll do 2 cards here because that's how we do the free readings now. So let's do. You would go after Shirley, who I'm reading now, Coco, if you want to. Let's see, can you please tell me, should I call Glenn about the job? He was texting me something on Monday when he stopped. All right, so we'll do 1, should you call him, 1, should you text him. So let's do that. You're welcome, Shirley. All right, should you call him or should you text him? All right, should we call Glenn or should we text him? Let's see what we can find out here. So for call, I get, For call or text, both of these are in reverse. It looks like the Justice one is upright, but that's just the kind of the mirror image. It should look like that for Justice. And then I see the 4 of Pentacles. So he's an executive director. So I'm going to say, Shirley, give it some more time. Maybe wait. Yeah, I should. I'm thinking you should wait. Something's telling me to wait on that because both of the options here don't seem good. And maybe the person would feel like you're trying to rush them a little bit. So I would say wait and, give it a week, come back on here, and then you can ask the question again. What should you do if there hasn't been any contact? I feel like that would be fair, right? Hopefully, though, it's not that long. Hopefully they message you before too long, surely. But that's kind of what I'm getting there, is that just give it a little bit longer. You know, in the grand scheme of things, yeah. You have you have intentions set on opening an adult cabaret. Okay. Could you send some insight my way on what's in store for me? You're a high energy person who's not so great with patience. Well, what's really funny is if you're not great with patience, patience doesn't give a shit, does it? Patience is kind of like, I don't care. Don't listen to me then. Thank you so much, Coco. I appreciate that. I like that it says noob and there's a video game controller. That is cute. That's a baby controller right there. That's where they're born. You've got this, Shirley. I know you don't want, no one wants to wait. It's never something that you want to do, but we don't really get a choice, do we? I wish it wasn't that way. You know, I wish we didn't have to wait for things, because I'm impatient too. I'm telling you right now, when my Amazon package is delivered, I want it now. Like, I wish it was delivered, it was to me right then, or when I'm doing something, right? It kind of does look like a school bus, but if you take a closer look, up at the top it says noob, and we got a controller, it's wearing a diaper, it's having a good damn time, okay? I would imagine there's a pacifier and a little controller rattle too. Or maybe that would be weird. If it's a controller and it's using a controller rattle, it would be like taking off a head of another controller. Anyway, it's a weird life. It's a weird life for them. Hey, Marquella, how are you doing? Yeah, you see the controller buttons? Trust me, I live with anyway, not about that. We're talking about an adult Cadbury egg store, right? That's what you said. You wanted to open an adult Cadbury egg store? I'm for it. Let's see what we can come up with here for you. I'm doing good, Marquella. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right. It looks very beautiful. I'm hoping I'm not butchering the shit out of that. If you want to spell it out phonetically, if I'm not saying it right, please feel free to do so. I am okay with being corrected. Okay, let's look for you, Coco, and let me see what we can come up with here. All right. Gotta stretch a little bit. Okay. Oh yeah, I gotta do that too. Hold on. You're very welcome, Shirley. Thank you for being patient. I know sometimes you're waiting for such a long time, but I do try to get to everybody if you stay with me. You too, Shirley. Have a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna do this here. And then we go like that. We're gonna do this. And we have Coco in the house. Okay. All right, let's see what we can come up with, guys, and see what we can do here. So, just so I know for sure, I'm going to look at what a cabaret is, just so I know. Okay, so it's looking like. Okay, all right. I know what a I know what a cabaret is. A nightclub, a sexy nightclub. All right, let's look into this. So, let me grab this here. I figured that's what a cabaret was. I wasn't sure. Let's just be honest. I wanted to see stuff, and so let me look here and let me see what we can find. Okay, specifically, let me go back up and read your question. So let's look, Coco, and let's see what we can find that's in store for you. Let's see. Is it okay if I tune in with your energy, Coco? Okay, thank you. This will hurt a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see what we can find for you, though. Very first thing when I look at this kind of dream or this impression you've had, it's a knot. Like I'm seeing a string and there's a knot in the string, meaning that maybe you've already done some research or you've done some work, but now you've hit a snag, which makes sense. Okay. Or maybe the knot could be a pun on not working or not feeling like it, not knowing where to go, not knowing when to start, where to start, that kind of thing. We could also look at it that way. Okay, so I'm hearing the words new ground for you. So new ground would be, have you done anything like this before? Or anything in this kind of arena? Or is this something that's kind of all new to you at this point in time? As a possibility. You've danced before, okay. Have you ever, what I mean is, have you ever opened a club? Have you ever done that? That's what I mean. Ran your own kind of situation. That's kind of where I'm coming from. Okay, all right. Oh, it'll be your first business. Okay, so new ground makes perfect sense because that's, okay. Okay. I'm seeing, when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing a belly button, which is interesting. The belly button to me, it's not like showing the umbilical cord, right? It's just showing the belly button, but at one point that was where, we got nutrients, we got all that. There's still a lot you need to learn in this arena, or in this avenue. I feel like you've done research. I feel like you understand the industry, right? That's not a question. But I guess having the confidence or the know-how to move forward would be something. Have you taken any business classes, or have you done anything to help you with accounting or anything like that? A business like this, you're definitely going to need people in your court that are helping you with money. That's going to be primary. Like, that's one of the first things I'm seeing. And hopefully you could find people that can do that. Because there's setting up the business, there's the image of the business, there's the location of the business. That's the creative side, how it's going to look, what it's going to feel like, what drinks you have, things like that. That's the creative side, but you need a practical side behind it. The people running the show behind closed doors, or so to speak, you know what I mean? You need to have people you can trust or people that you feel would be a good fit for this. That's the first thing I'm seeing. And then I'm seeing a bomb dropping, like realizations, right? And as I'm seeing the realizations happening, maybe it can feel too overwhelming, or it can feel like it's fun to dream about it, it's fun to focus on it, but when it comes to the logistics or the practicality of it, that can feel a little overwhelming, which of course it is, because when you're talking about bringing something into reality, it goes from being a dream and something that can be fun to being something that seems like work, even though it is a dream. I'm feeling like if you just get yourself out and research as much as you can, it's not going to be as intimidating as you think it's going to be, but there's definitely going to be a learning curve here. I smelled smoke, like cigarette smoke, and then I smelled chocolate. That was interesting. Maybe that's what you'll call your adult cabaret. Call it Smoke and Chocolate. Have that be the name, and give me 5% royalties. I'm just kidding. I want 10. But I feel like it would be something. Well, let me look at this and let me see where it would go if you open something like this, because I feel like that's going to be the best way to know for sure. Okay, so I am Coco. Would you be someone who would be like, would you want to run this nightclub because you feel like you could take better care of the people that were dancing? Is this a situation where maybe when you were doing what you were doing, you didn't feel safe or taken care of, and you would want to provide a space where people can do what they want to do, but also have support in some way? Or what is your reason besides monetary? Okay, that's your reason. All right, so that would make sense because that's what I was seeing. You wanted to be that for people. Okay. Let me see what else I can find here. So already the intentions are good. I love that. I love that you're someone who cares. I love that you're someone because the I don't know what to call it. How would you word it? Because I don't want to offend you. I don't want to say something that you're like, oh no, I don't agree with that. So I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's like a okay. Like a sexual fantasy, in a way, it's sort of like adults playing, right? I mean, that would be the best way I can think of it. Children play in very different ways. Adults have the pleasure part and they're playing, but there needs to be a safe spot for all of this stuff to happen because it can get out of hand. Things can happen, and you want to have a safe space where people can express themselves sexually or non-sexually, but just to feel safe. So that makes perfect sense to me. Okay, and then I'm seeing a moth to a flame. So this is showing me you've been burned before. You've been burned before. I hope not literally or anything like that, but it's like I'm seeing a moth going into the flame. I'm seeing someone who is trusting and someone who felt like other people had their best interests at heart, but that wasn't necessarily the case. And again, this didn't happen because you were stupid. It happened because you're a good person and you view other people as also being good people too. A little naive, yes, but you're also someone who has a very good heart and someone who wants to share their openness with people. And you would want to do that for others too. Openness to you is a big deal. Transparency to you is a big deal. Being able to have someone saying something, okay, whatever, you don't give a shit. Someone following through with the thing they said, that's when you're like, okay, I can trust this person. I feel like this person can have my back. You've been in a situation where you're like, I'm ready to try something new. I'm ready to do this thing. All right. So then I'm seeing the words struggle and I'm seeing the words snow. This to me would be like the word struggle and the word snow. So ice doesn't support life that well, right? I mean, there can be some things that live in colder climates, but let's face it, even they want to be warm. Polar bears, penguins, they need the warmth too. I wouldn't want to, anyway. But what I feel when I'm seeing the struggle and I'm seeing the winter is that there's been has there been a long stretch where you haven't done any of this stuff because you felt like it was too much to take on? Or why am I seeing the winter months where it's coming to an end or a death? Because it feels like there was something there and then there's a struggle and then there's a gap. Maybe you can help me out with that if that's something that's happened. I drink so much water. You'd be impressed or surprised. Either one is okay with me. But I stay very hydrated. We should talk about my hydration levels more, but yeah. That makes sense. You were making good income, then you were set up and robbed for all of it by friends. Absolutely. So this club comes out of a situation of providing a safe space for people, feeling like you're going to be the one in charge, so you're not going to rob people, you're not going to try to hurt people in any way. You're basically doing this as a way to take back power and control in a situation where you felt powerless. And this way for you is also a way where you can help other people. So I feel like your intentions behind this are noble. I feel like they're really good. And I'm going to get a little more information. I'm trying to get on the same page as you. Is everything I'm saying making sense so far? Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay, on this process, I am Coco. Allow yourself to get a feel for the space. Something that I'm getting from you is you're not someone who wants to just have the looks of the space that you're after. The atmosphere is hugely important for what it is that you want to do. And I don't want you to settle for something that isn't what you want. I feel like the thing that you want will come its way. I'm seeing you in a place and you're painting it, which to me is saying that you're confident that this is something that you would want to do. Just because it feels to me like you're more about atmosphere. The looks are a part of it, absolutely, but it's about this allure. It's about this atmosphere that to me feels the most important for you. Establishing a sense of safety and security, but also a sense of fun and pleasure and, those kinds of things. So the atmosphere is huge. And the reason why I said that is there can be a tendency to, when we want to do something, we want to start it. You're very creative. Good. So there can be a tendency that when we want to do something or we want to start something, that when something kind of gives our way a little bit, we're like, okay, this is a sign, I'm going to take it. I want you to be sure. I feel like there's going to be something that presents itself in a way where you're like, okay, this feels like a really good space. If you're having questions about it, don't be unrealistic, but also look at it in a way that's like, don't settle for something that you don't feel has that pull. I want you to get the feeling. I want you to get a sense of like you can imagine it, you can feel it there. Don't settle for something that feels like lesser than what you feel like it could be. Okay, because you're going to know what it is that you want because you've been in the industry. So you already have an idea of how you would want to do things. I just don't want you to look at the first space and be like, I'll take it. Not that you would do that. I'm just saying that there can be a tendency to be impulsive in these kinds of decisions because realtors have a way of making you feel like, oh my God, you're missing out. Huge opportunity. So you just take it slow in that regard. Take it slow. I'm seeing a queen as well, and the queen is kind of like doing her own thing. I'm feeling like there's going to be you. There's going to be one or two managers. Yeah, if you can find people you can trust, obviously, but it's like I feel like it's you, it's one or two managers, people that are helping seeing the overall day-to-day things. And then I'm feeling like you're someone who eventually you kind of let people do their own thing. You're not going to hover over them. You're not going to make them feel uncomfortable. And I want you to remember this in this way because this will help you in processing things that have happened. And I know that it can be this can kind of put things in perspective. There's a building that my partner's friend is letting us use at night. And how does that feel? How does that space feel? Probably not what you're thinking, maybe. Or, feel free to say whatever, even if it's contradictory, but to what I'm saying. But what was I saying there? I feel like, I'm seeing someone who you're not going to hover over people. You're going to let people eventually do their own thing when you feel like they're capable of it, because maybe you had to deal with people that were too overbearing or way too hands-on in situations. And so you don't want to have that. You want to have a sense of creativity, but you also want to give people a sense of independence. And I feel like you're a person who wants to have leader, right? I feel like you're a person who can get other people to have leadership roles as well once this gets started. I feel like you have that kind of thing where you can encourage people and help them to do the best they can and not make people feel like they're lesser than for not knowing something. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think it'll be perfect. Saying that, I might not be able to renovate. Okay. So it's going to be important. It is so important because, imagine a nightclub. You go, look at my walls. Look at my walls back here. The weird vanilla, yellow, hello, son of a bitch. I don't know. But look back there. Now, if a nightclub had those colors, it'd be a little weird, right? So you want to make sure the colors, the schemes, the carpet, the different things. Hey, I don't give a shit about your bad grandma. That's not my problem. No, you're okay. Bad grammar aside, I make mistakes too. I have horrible sentence structure. I use Grammarly. By the way, they're a sponsor of this video. I'm just kidding. They're not. But I do use Grammarly. I'm horrible with sentence structure and grammar and stuff. So me and you both, right? So that's what I'm seeing there. Get something that'll work for you. Don't settle for things that won't. Don't let people talk you into doing something that you don't feel comfortable with. This is your dream. You get one shot to make it into something that you want it to be. And here's the deal, right? Even if for some reason it blows up in your face and it doesn't work out, you get to say, I tried to do everything I wanted to do. It didn't work out, but I did everything the way I wanted to do it. And, sink or swim, at least you did it the way you wanted to do it. That's the most important thing. At least you got to express yourself in some way. And I'm going to draw 2 cards here to kind of look at our situation a little bit closer. So if Coco establishes this nightclub, will it be successful? If Coco gets all the preliminary stuff out of the way, will this nightclub be successful? Okay, this is awesome. 9 of Cups. That's a really good card. You see this person throwing a bunch of Tupperware up in the air, acting like they just don't care? They're going to land on that treasure chest and break their ankle. I'm going to put so much effort into this. I have no doubt. But also, it's funny that you say you're going to put so much effort into this. Also have moments where you take it easy. Knight of Pentacles in reverse can be someone who's an extremist. Don't lose your sight for this vision, okay? I don't want you to go at it so hard that you burn yourself out. When you feel yourself getting tired, when you feel like it's time to take a step back, please take a step back. Listen to your body during this process. I know you're someone who, when you get involved in a project, you're going to see it through and you're going to want to work as hard as you can for as long as you can. Don't burn yourself out. This is talking about taking precautions, letting yourself do that. Yeah. Letting yourself do that in a way that makes more sense, where you can, yes, you're going to have to go home, get some sleep, get a good 2 or 3 hours, and then wake up. No, I'm just kidding. Get some good sleep, okay? And then you're going to get up and you're going to do it again, but make it so that there's days off. Make it so that even though this is your dream and you do want to do it, realize that you're still a person and you need to take time. And a lot of times when you're resting, that's when good ideas can come to you. But if you're constantly working at it all the time, sometimes the inspiration leaves us. And so it's important to let things come to us as well as going to it. So hopefully that makes sense and can help keep that creative flow. So, Coco, does that help answer your question? Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on here. It's been a minute since I've seen you on here. And I wish you all the luck and success in doing this endeavor, because it sounds to me like a safe place, a safe space for this kind of stuff to happen needs to be a thing. It really does. And giving that to people that are in this industry where they can make good money, they can enjoy themselves, but they can also feel protected, that is huge. That is a huge deal. And I feel like that sense of sexual expression shouldn't be minimized and then the sense of danger maximized. I feel like there should be some control there, and I feel like you would be very good at regulating what's going on. So I think that's perfect. I think that's a perfect thing for you to do, and I think the ideas and the goal is noble, And I don't see why it wouldn't work. Just, keep a good head on your shoulders. Take time to rest. Take time to listen, but yeah. Yes, it is. I want everyone to be comfortable, especially your employees. I have no doubt about that. I have no doubt that you're going to make everyone feel right at home, even in a business, even in this kind of setting. I have a feeling you're going to be very good at that. So just keep that mentality going into this. You will have people test your patience, people that will try to manipulate, people that will try their best to, pull the wool over your eyes in some instances. Keep your wits about you, obviously. But I feel like, honestly, you're going to knock this out of the park. And that 5%, 10%, it's 20% now. Oh, those are my rates. And so, I just wish you the best. And, come back on here and ask me if you need any more advice or help, and we can go from there, okay? All right. See you, Coco. Have a good one. And anyone else that's watching, you guys have a good one, too. I'm going to take off, and I'll be back to donate. Awesome. I will be waiting with bated breath, whatever that means. Probably stinky breath, maybe. Maybe that's what it is. But you have a good one, Coco. Everyone take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo, ta-ta, and all that shit.